All right, we are live. Roxanne, you want to introduce the program?
Sure. Thank you, Elizabeth, and thank you for your support. We as a team really appreciate that. I'm Roxanne Del Rio, Dean of Students and Outreach for NCTC. Hello, everyone, and welcome to NCTC's Virtual Resource Fair, sponsored by NCTC's University partners, Bellevue, Midwestern State, Texas Women's University, and the University of North Texas. This virtual fair is a 2-day event, and it is a convenient way to share information by offering resources with you students. Today, you'll learn about university transfer from our partner universities, student organizations, and ways that you can get involved on campus, as well as ways that you can get involved in your local community by volunteering. Now I would like to invite Jeanette King, Assistant Director of Student Services for Midwestern State University, to talk about our next segment of our resource fair.
Thank you so much, Roxanne. Welcome to NCTC students. We are very happy to be here to bring you information about how to make your transfer transition easier. And today, our first segment of the resource fair is going to be presentations by our university partners. And those partners include Texas Women's University, University of North Texas, Bellevue, and Midwestern State University. But first, we're very excited to bring some information to all of you that we know will be very helpful on FAFSA and TAFSA and how to fill those out. And also, we will have a wonderful representative from TWU, Nicole from the G-Force, is going to be here to answer any questions that you have. But first, we're going to get started with a short video that's going to give you more information that can help you completing your FAFSA and your TAFSA. Thanks.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today with this College 101 financial aid presentation. My name is Anissa Navarro and I am part of the G-Force mentoring program here at Texas Women's University. In the program, we assist college and high school students with FAFSA and TAFSA applications, along with any other help they may need to pursue higher education. So with further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start our presentation today. So, the College 101 Guide to Financial Aid covers federal student aid, state aid, institutional aid, and scholarships. By the end of this presentation, we will cover all the objectives, which include what is financial aid, who can get it, how much can you get, how do you apply, what happens next, and where can you get more information. I'm going to be talking about the different types of financial aid a student may be eligible for. Each school has different scholarships that you can apply for that can be awarded to each student. You can also receive outside scholarships as well. Grants are given based on financial need and typically do not need to be repaid back. Next, we have work-study grants. These type of grants are received when students are able to work on campus part-time. I also want to mention that these scholarships and work-study grants vary per university or school. Now I'm going to cover and talk about the different types of loans. So a need-based loan or a subsidized loan is a loan that does not accrue interest until after you graduate college. On the other hand, there is a non-need-based loan or an unsubsidized loan that immediately starts to accrue interest as soon as you take it out. An easy way to remember the difference is to think unsub equals unwanted loan because it accrues interest immediately. So now I'm going to be talking about the two different types of financial aid applications. One of them being FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, and TAFSA, the Texas application for state financial aid. So we're going to talk about these two applications and how to apply to them. To break down the difference between the FAFSA and TAFSA, here is a chart which will help you better understand which application a student will need to complete. U.S. citizens or permanent residents will complete the FAFSA application. Students who are DACA recipients or undocumented will complete the TAFSA application. It is important to note that DACA recipients or students who are undocumented are still eligible to receive Texas state financial aid and scholarships. So I'm going to touch a little bit upon the requirements for the FAFSA application. So they must be graduated from high school or complete a GED. They must have a valid social security number. They must be enrolled in an eligible degree certification program. They must maintain satisfactory academic progress. They must not owe a refund on a federal student grant or a default on a federal student loan. If they're male, they're going to have to be registered for the Selective Service. And in order to apply for this application, you're going to need the parents' income tax returns or transcripts, and the students' income tax returns and transcripts as well. On the other hand, if your student is a TASFA applicant, here are some requirements for them. They must graduate high school or complete a GED. They must be enrolled in an eligible degree or certification program. They must maintain satisfactory academic progress. They must be a DACA recipient or an undocumented student. Again, if they're male, they're going to have to be registered for the Selective Service. And in order to complete this application, they're going to need the parents' income tax return transcripts and the students as well if they did work. So now we're going to talk about how to apply these forms of aid. So to begin, we're going to talk about FAFSA. So the number one, how this is going to first start is to create an FSA ID. The parent or legal guardian will need to create their own FSA ID too. And you're going to have to fill out the FAFSA application online. So we're going to break down these steps a little bit. So before you can begin the FAFSA application, as I mentioned, you must create your FSA ID. You and your parent will need to create the FSA ID. Please make sure to write down your login information, as you and your parent will only be able to create this once. And each time that you do your FAFSA application, you will have to use the FSA ID. So make sure you write it down. So this is what the homepage looks like. Once you create your FSA ID, you would go to log in, and from there you could be able to complete that application. To make the application easier and make less errors on there, you can use the IRS data retrieval tool. It helps link information to your FAFSA application straight from the IRS. By doing this, it lessens the chance for you to be chosen for verification. So now we're going to talk about how to apply for TASFA. If you need to submit the TASFA application, the application can be found online by using that website for College for All Texans, but you'll have to fill it out and print it in a paper format. Then you'll have to submit your TASFA application and mail it to the selected school of your choice. Some of the information you'll need for the application is for supporting documentation. This includes the Selective Service registration if you're male, affidavits, income tax returns and transcripts, or if you and your parents earn cash income, it must be reported on that application. This year, for the first time, some colleges and universities are offering an electronic TASFA application, but just double check with the school of your choice to make sure that if they do offer that. It's important to remember that the biggest difference between TASFA and FAFSA is that the TASFA application is in the paper form, which should be mailed directly to the college of your choice, while on the other hand, FAFSA can be done completely online. So on this slide, here's a sample view of how the TASFA application will look like. It's very similar to the FAFSA, and the parent tax information is still needed. If your parents do not have a social security number, it's okay. The application will still be accepted. Remember to use all zeros in replacement of the social security number, and this can be applied for both the TASFA and FAFSA application. So what if I have special circumstances? You can always talk to the financial aid office at the school of your choice where you're applying to, even if you haven't been accepted yet. Special circumstances, such as if your parents have lost their job due to COVID-19, things like that, you're still eligible to qualify for financial aid. Special circumstances are common for students, and each college and university can provide assistance. So here on the slide, it talks about what determines some special circumstances. Some of those include if the parents are incarcerated, if a student has fled an abusive and family environment, if the student doesn't know where to contact their parents or how to contact them, or like I mentioned, if they lost their job or been affected due to COVID-19. Some things that are necessarily not a special circumstance is if parents refuse to provide information, if the parents do not want to help pay for college, if the student doesn't live with parents, or the parents don't claim them on the taxes. Another special circumstances is students who are experiencing homelessness. According to the FAFSA, students must meet both conditions in order to determine their status. FAFSA defines homelessness by lack of fixed or regular or inadequate housing, and the student is unaccompanied and is not in custody of their parent or legal guardian. So many students wonder if they should file as an independent if they file taxes. However, students are considered independent for FAFSA if you meet the following criteria. So this will be 24 by January of the first award year. If they are unaccompanied youth who are homeless, or if they have children or dependents, if they're married, they have a legal guardian, or since by the age of 13 they have no living parent or in their foster care, if they're working on their master's or doctorate degree, if they're in the U.S. Armed Forces or a veteran, or if they're an emancipated minor. Those are some of the circumstances if they could file as an independent. So let's talk about what happens next after we finish our applications for financial aid. Each college you apply to will provide you with the award letter once the school has processed their FAFSA or TASFA. You will be able to accept or reject each offer. This means that the student can accept their scholarships, grants, and loans. However, if you want to reject any of the awards, such as loans, you will still be able to do so. The award letters will vary per each school based on the cost of attendance. Colleges and universities usually provide award letters in the spring semester between March and May. This is another reason why you want to complete FAFSA and TASFA as soon as possible to know exactly what you'll be awarded. Once you have the award letter, you'll have a closer estimate of the exact cost of attendance of the choice of school where you're going to be going. As mentioned, the cost of attendance, also known as COA, varies per school. Usually each cost of attendance is an estimate, not an actual amount. This includes tuition, fees, books and supplies, your housing cost, transportation, personal costs if any, and if you have any children, which includes childcare expenses. The cost of attendance is calculated automatically through the school. However, it is likely that your student's actual costs will vary. For example, personal expenses such as groceries, laundry, clothing, and food would vary from student to student. Some schools offer a cost of attendance calculator which can be found on the school's website. So cost of attendance can also vary based on the amount of credit hours a student takes per semester. And the above the cost of attendance is based off of 15 credit hours on the slide, so which can be equivalent to 5 classes. As you can see, the cost of attendance between living on campus and off campus or at home varies per student living on campus. So here on the slide, like I mentioned, this is based off 15 credit hours. So the estimated cost of attendance talks about the tuitions, fees, books and supplies, room and board, personal expenses, and transportation. So that is just a rough estimate, and as I mentioned, it varies per student. So here are some important deadlines to keep in mind. You want to pay close attention to the deadlines when completing each application. The FAFSA and TASFA application opens on October 1st, and priority deadline is on January 15th. So if you have not completed your FAFSA or TASFA application, you still have time to do so. You also want to pay close attention to the scholarship deadlines. These may vary per school. For those who are interested in applying to TWU, our scholarship deadline is in March. So be sure if you are interested in another college or university, just keep an eye on that scholarship deadline. So if you're like me, you'll need visuals to understand all the information we just went through. So I'm going to explain each step and what they require from your parent. So step 1, you and your parents will need to create an FSA ID. Be sure to store this information where you can find it and you'll have access to it. Please be sure to use a personal email account, as one day you will be able to access your high school email, so just keep that in mind. You and your student will continue to use the same FSA ID each year to renew your FAFSA application, so it's important that you write it down and remember it well. Step 2 is to start the FAFSA. Each year, the FAFSA opens on October 1st. Step 3. The FAFSA has 7 sections. The first section is the student demographic section that includes your name, current address, social security, marital status, and gender. Step 4, you're going to add the schools in which you plan to apply to. You can send FAFSA up to 10 schools for free. Even if you aren't sure which school you would like to apply, you could still send your FAFSA information to those college or universities directly. Step 5, the dependency status questions are questions such as, is the student married, a member of the armed forces, an orphan, a ward of the court, someone with legal dependents other than a spouse, an emancipated minor, or someone who's being homeless or at risk at being homeless. Step 6, the parents will fill out the parent demographic section in financial information. Students may ask parent questions that are personal while completing the FAFSA application. If the parents do not want to share their information with the student, they can log in using their FSA ID to complete their portion on their own. Step 8, using the FSA ID the parent created, they will sign the student's FAFSA application electronically. And lastly, step 9 is to make sure you as a student electronically sign your FAFSA using the FSA ID as well. So now we're going to go over some myths about financial aid that a lot of students have questions about or are curious about. So our first myth we're going to talk about is my parents' income is too high and I won't qualify for financial aid. So here's the truth. There's no income cutoff to qualify for financial student aid. Many factors such as the size of your family and the year in school are taken into account. So don't make assumptions of what you'll get. So just make sure to fill out the application form to find out. All right, our next myth. I can't apply for FAFSA or TAFSA because I haven't applied to any schools yet. So here's the truth around that. You can file the FAFSA application just be sure to include at least one school. We suggest that you add each school, even if you're thinking about it. You'll have the first piece of the puzzle in place if you do decide to apply to that school. And there's no harm in providing an extensive list. Remember that you can always edit the list later. Our next myth. My parents aren't U.S. citizens. There's no way that I will receive financial aid. So here's the truth. Your parents' citizenship status does not factor into you receiving financial aid. And the FAFSA form won't even ask you about it. If your parents do not have a Social Security number, as I mentioned, they can enter all zeros when the FAFSA form asks for their Social Security number. All right, our next myth. I have to update my FAFSA form after I file my taxes in the spring, won't I? So here's the truth. Nope, you will need to use your 2019 taxes to complete the FAFSA, so 2 years prior. You can transfer your tax information directly from the IRS service if that's offered to you while applying, and you're good to go. And our last myth. By providing their information, the parents become responsible for paying for college. So here's the truth. Parent data is used on the FAFSA to determine your expected family contribution or EFC, a term that can give the impression that your parents are able to hook for help with any costs. So in reality, there's simply a measure for your family ability to pay for college and used to determine the amount of need-based you're eligible for. So now we hope that this information was very helpful and it's useful for you while applying to college. Some questions I want to go over is some frequently asked questions that we find that students have. So one of the questions is, why should the student fill out the FAFSA? So as I mentioned, the parents, sometimes people ask if the parents make too much. It's okay if you don't think that you're gonna get anything, but now as some college universities are making it a requirement that you fill out the FAFSA to even apply to the school or even be eligible for any scholarships. So that's something to keep in mind. Why should I complete the FAFSA in October or as soon as possible? As mentioned in the presentation, it's a first come, first served basis. The longer you wait to fill out the FAFSA, the longer it'll take for the school to give you your award letter. So with that, it's just as soon as you can get it done, the faster and the sooner is better. Another question that we have is the difference between subsidized loans and unsubsidized loans. So we talked about that in the beginning of the presentation. Just remember that unsub equals unwanted loan amount because it starts gaining interest while in college, and subsidized is your wanted loan because it doesn't gain interest. So it's a better option of the two. We talked about what if your parent doesn't have a social security number. You can still complete the FAFSA and TASFA application. You'll just need to put zeros in place of that social security number. And one more thing that we want to emphasize is to keep track of your FSA ID. Each year when you're in college, you're going to have to renew your FAFSA application, and you're going to use the same login, and you cannot recreate an account or anything like that. So make sure you write it down somewhere where you know where it's at, so you could so you won't have that hassle of trying to figure that out. So if you have any personal questions or need a mentor to walk you through, you can always make an appointment. As our Go Center, we are virtual. So if you go to that link right there, you could book an appointment with one of our mentors during the week, and we could meet virtually, as I mentioned, and we could share our screens, and we could help you with anything from FAFSA, TASFA, anything so your student can pursue higher education. Here's our contact information and our phone number for our Office of Diversity, Inclusion, and Outreach, which we're under. Also, we have our contact information for our Associate Director in charge of our mentoring program, which is Simone Daniels, and her email is there as well. I want to thank you so much for joining us today for our presentation, and I hope this was very helpful. If you do have any questions, feel free to give us a call by contacting our Associate Director or here at the office. We're always here, and thank you so much again. I hope you had, this is very informational for you.
We were so very glad that we could share information with NCTC students about the TAFSA and the FAFSA. We're also lucky to have with us Nicole, one of the G-Force mentors here, to answer any questions. But until we see if we have any questions, Nicole, do you have any pearls of wisdom or recommendations that you like to share with students about the TAFSA or FAFSA?
Yes, so thank you for having me. I first want to say, if you are a student and you have older siblings or younger siblings, keep in mind that your parents' FSA ID will stay the same for, if they did it for your older sibling, it will be the same for you. If you have younger siblings, make sure you keep it so then your parents can have it for them. Also, FAFSA has this nifty little thing now where when the first sibling completes it, you can link your FAFSA to it, so the parent information automatically gets filled in. They used to not have that, so that is a good thing to use. It makes it easier and less doing like different little changes. Something else I wanted to mention is on the IRS data retrieval tool, sometimes people get kicked back with an error message saying that it didn't go through. And this is often because you do not put in exactly as your address appears on your tax transcript. So be sure if it's like drive, if they wrote out drive on your tax transcript, be sure to type out like DRIVE and not just DR dot. If you don't do it exactly, then it will kick it back. Also, like Anissa said in the presentation, be sure to complete your FAFSA or TASFA. A lot of students say, well, I don't think I'll get anything. Some colleges will not allow for your scholarships to be awarded to your account until they have a FAFSA on file for you.
Fantastic. Do you have any recommendations for students that will be completing their TAFSA and how they can prepare information in advance, or any other recommendations to make the process more easy?
So for TASFA, I definitely recommend, some colleges have already started doing the TASFA online. Next year, all colleges, it will be online, but definitely go to College for All Texans, that website, and on there, it has a list of everything you'll need to fill out the TASFA. And then I always say to be sure and contact the financial aid office. Make sure you have the right address, and then follow up with them after you send it to make sure that they did receive it.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we have any other questions out there that Nicole could help us with? I think we are actually at the transition time for our next session, Nicole. We are so thankful you could join us, and we appreciate your input. Thanks again.
Thanks for having me. Have a good day.
I appreciate it. Now I get to introduce Ms. Courtney Graves from UNT. Courtney is the Assistant Director of Undergraduate Admissions, and she's going to talk to us about transferring to UNT.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad to be here today. I am going to go ahead and share a quick PowerPoint with you guys. Just give me one moment. Okay, I'm not sure. I'm a newbie when it comes to this platform. Can you see my presentation? No, probably not.
We could. Yes, you can go back to your presentation. We saw it.
Just hold it like that. Okay, that is good to know. Okay. Like I said, or like I was introduced, I'm Courtney Graves, Assistant Director of Undergrad Recruitment over at UNT. I actually focus on transfer initiatives. So I am so glad to be able to speak with you guys today. I'm just going to go a little bit like a general overview of UNT, admissions, and then some really fun new transfer scholarship opportunities that we have been able to implement starting this spring. So no further ado, you guys are close by. NCTC is typically in our backyard, even if you're, at any of the campuses. But we do have several locations that are part of the UNT Denton campus. So Denton, of course, is voted one of the best small towns in America. And best college town in America. It's something we're really proud of. And then we also have a campus in Frisco. So a little bit smaller, definitely growing. We will be breaking ground on a full campus here within the next couple of years. And it should be completed within the next 2 years. So we are so excited for that. Frisco is growing. So we're really great to be really excited to have great partners over in Frisco to extend opportunities to our students. Also, as you know, if you're an NCTC student, you know we're not too far from Dallas or Fort Worth, which has 24 Fortune 500 companies. 3 are the top 10. So that just means lots of opportunities for students as they move on, or internships, or just fun. College isn't all just about studying. It's also concerts. It's going to the mall. Post-COVID, but it's definitely, I do feel Denton is in the best of both worlds. We have that small town feel right outside of two really large and functional cities. So just some facts and figures about UNT. We've been around a while. So we just celebrated our 130th birthday. We didn't get to celebrate like we usually would on campus. Usually there's a big party that's thrown and there's, free food, free t-shirt, free goodies, concerts on campus. Hopefully someday we'll be able to start doing that again. But UNT has been around for a while and we've done nothing but develop and grow and expand out to so many more students over the years. We are a Carnegie classified Tier 1 research university. What that really means is that we're giving funding to be a part of like the top 10% of universities across the US. So we are given funding for our undergrad and graduate students to research and do great projects and really get their name out there. That's up there with a bunch of Ivy League schools. So that's something we're very, very proud of. We do have right at 106 undergrad programs, and then over 425 student organizations. We'll get into that a little bit more as we move along. Same with our athletics. But just this past academic year, we did award over 10,000 degrees at UNT. So that's something we're so very proud of. This past year, we did hit record enrollment when it comes to our enrollment with from undergrad all the way up to grad. So UNT is still trying to do big things, even if we're remote, still trying to make sure our students are supported and taken care of in the best way possible. So as I mentioned, who we are. So we did have over 40,000 students. Again, that's undergrad and grad. Join us for this fall. So not for, whether that's a freshman all the way to graduate. We have students coming from all over the place, whether that's another country or another state. But it is important to know that over 88% of our students are Texas residents. That's important because you know the person sitting next to you in class is a fellow Texan, have a lot of the same, grew up the same as you. They have the opportunity to, to continue to stay in Texas after graduating, to continue to build up on this great state that we already are part of. Really important to us. We're so proud of this. UNT was recently dubbed a Hispanic serving institution. So as you can see by ethnicity, we are a very diverse campus. No student looks alike. We're so proud of that. If there's anything UNT is proud of, is we are proud of our individuality and our diversity. So I always joke with students when I'm on campus with them, if you walk through our student union, you'll see someone walking by in their performance, like not costume, but if they're like an opera singer, they'll be wearing their dress, grabbing lunch right before they head on over to the College of Music, or an athlete. You can see all types of students, and that's something that UNT is so very proud of. Additionally, over 41% of our students are first gen. So we have so many programs, so many opportunities for our first gen students to feel confident in moving forward at UNT. There's so many programs, there's clubs, there's organizations, there's support centers on campus for our first gen students. So you may feel a little nervous moving on to a four-year university, especially one that says that they have over 40,000 students. UNT still will take care of you and ensure you're having the best experience when it comes to academics and your personal life. We'll talk more about this as we move on, but 75% of our students are awarded some form of financial aid or scholarships. So not only are we excited to get our students to UNT, but we also help support them financially. And then we do have lots of students a part of our honors college. So that's something that we definitely try to get students involved in if that's something you're looking forward to be a little more challenged, to be a part of the living, learning community, things like that. Yeah. So academic excellence, we are one university with 12 different colleges, and that just means College of Visual Arts and Design, College of Education, all of our programs, all 106 bachelor's degree are a part of 12 different colleges, and that is within our Denton, Frisco, and online campuses. So we do have 89 academic programs ranked in the nation's top 100. So we're doing big things. We're very proud of the work our students are doing at UNT, and our faculty and staff are there to support our students every step of the way. I did mention very quickly about Frisco, but I just want to expand on that just a little bit more. Our campus in Frisco is growing. As you can see, our 100-acre campus will be opening in 2023, and that campus is going to be like none other. It's going to be in the heart of Frisco. It's going to have partnerships with the Dallas Cowboys, Toyota, City of Frisco. So the biggest thing with our opportunities at Frisco is hands-on learning. So it is a smaller campus. So you get to know your faculty and staff that much more. And they will get you, the project-based learning, the career readiness, student engagement that you're truly going to need to be successful. Over to the right side, you can see the different programs offered at Frisco. So it's not all 106 degrees offered over at Frisco, but still some of our popular ones are offered over. Then we do have some grad programs offered over at Frisco as well. So if that's something you're interested in, really recommend reaching out to our Frisco team. One really cool thing about Frisco that we're trying to kind of get students to see how great it is, we do offer an incentive for students who are transfer students. If they enroll in classes at Frisco, they will get, an incentive. So depending on how many hours you enroll in, you can get a little extra money for financial aid type of support just by taking your regular classes. So we want people to explore Frisco and see what kind of opportunities are there too, and not just Denton. So Frisco is doing big things for sure. So campus life, we do have over 425 organizations, whether it's academic, professional, fraternity, Greek life, service, any of those things, we have something for everyone. There's so many clubs and that you can kind of sift through them. There's a website on the UNT website where you can search keywords. I know there's a squirrel watching club, and there used to be, it may not be a thing anymore, but you can totally bring it back. There used to be a Whataburger club. So if you are a diehard Whataburger lover, then you could create a club. Just need a couple friends, an advisor, and sign off on some paperwork, and you can create the 426th club. But there's something for everyone, and we want students to feel included, even our transfer students. So oftentimes, I myself was a transfer student, and I remember moving on to my university and feeling like maybe
Courtney, I'm afraid you've blocked up just for a little bit, so we're gonna give you a little bit of time to see if you can connect.
Events always going on campus. Outside of COVID, we were always, there was always something going on, always free food for the students, free movies, concerts, always, we were hustle and bustling all the time on campus. So it's always a little sad when we're on campus and it's just a little bit slower, but there's still students out in the open and social distancing, still doing things together and enjoying smaller events. But it's one thing that UNT, takes pride in is making sure the students are involved and getting to engage with each other to be able to have a great experience. We do have residence halls, on campus. As a transfer student, you are not required to live on campus, but you're welcome to apply if that's what you would prefer to do. And we do have dining halls, 5 of them, and then a 6th one being built right now. And I'm not gonna lie, it looks phenomenal. It's gonna be sort of like, if you've ever been to the food hall in Frisco at Legacy West, it's going to be kind of like that. It's going to be like an open cafeteria where each section has a different type of food. So we're really excited about that. It was supposed to be completed just like this past fall, but things kind of slowed down a little bit, but it'll be done very soon. And it looks like it's going to be super fun. And then we are known for our College of Music at UNT. So whether you want to be a part of the College of Music or you're just a music lover, we have over 1,000 concerts typically hosted on campus each year just by the College of Music. So always typically something to do. Just fun, not super, academic related, but we do have athletics on campus. We are a part of Conference USA, which is NCAA Division I. You can see the sports right there. Maybe though you enjoy sports, maybe not at that type of level, we do have club sports. So anything from, archery, baseball, table tennis, lots going on where you're still competitive, you travel to compete, but maybe not on that Division I level. For those who maybe just like to go out and have fun with your friends and not really maybe be so competitive, there is intramural sports as well, everything from racquetball to Quidditch, everything in between. You can do it with your residence halls or just friends, just ways for you to kind of, continue to be athletic if that's something you're interested in. Student support services. I'm not going to read through this entire slide. It is a really helpful slide, but there's so much more to student support at UNT than just what's listed here. Of course, anything from academic support, that's advising services, Office of Disability Access, the libraries. Of course, we have those. We have several libraries on campus. We have not just academic advisors within each college, but we have advising services. That's a separate unit that will assist any student out if they just need a quick pop-in appointment. And a writing center, say maybe you are a phenomenal writer and you just need someone to make sure your commas are in the right spot. You can go to the writing center. Maybe you need help from beginning to end and you are stuck and need help with the meat and potatoes. They can help you there as well. So academic support, absolutely on campus. Of course, well-being and safety, wellness center, our UNT police are always around, food pantry, then of course, career and leadership, because that's kind of next steps after college, right? So we do have a career center and a center for leadership and service who support students with next steps, whether that's needing help getting a suit for an interview or helping build your resume, getting you involved in different leadership opportunities is really what that department and those organizations are about. And then, of course, always important, orientation, transition programs. We do have a transfer center on campus that you can get involved in. you would get set up with like a mentor that was a transfer student themselves, help you kind of navigate the ropes and get the support you need as a transfer student. So lots of great opportunities to feel supported at UNT. So transfer admission. So where do you start? What's next? We did recently change up our requirements just a little bit. So first up, of course, is apply. We recommend Apply Texas, but Common App works just as well. After that, submitting separate and official college transcripts from each college you have attended. So make sure the school is sending that directly to us. Official means it's coming from the college. If you send it yourself as the student, it's not going to be considered official, unfortunately. And if you have less than 15 credit hours, we will need your high school information as well, whether that be your transcript and your test scores or just your transcript, depending on if you were able to take the ACT or SAT. And then, of course, your student portal is going to be the best place to kind of keep up to date on your status, next steps. Any good information that you need to know about your application is going to be on your myunt.edu student portal. So what does it take to get admitted? It's all going to be dependent on your credit hours and your GPA for a transfer student. You can see our automatic admission requirements in that top box on the right side. However, if you're borderline, if you have questions or concerns, I am more than happy to chat with you about other opportunities to become admissible, whether that's through individual review, our adult admission. We can definitely work with students to make sure we're giving everybody the opportunity they deserve to join us at UNT. So I'm not going to read through the priority dates, but you can see that depending on what semester you're interested in joining us, there's those dates right there. Oh, and the priority date just means our late fee will increase, or our application fee will increase. So you can still, say if you're interested in fall 21, you can still apply on August 1st instead of July 1st and still be considered for fall admission. Just know that our fee does go up. And some additional transfer information. So this is what I was talking about. We are so over the moon about this. So just a couple weeks ago, it was announced that UNT transfer students will now be eligible to be considered for spring scholarships. It used to only be a fall opportunity, but now we are able to offer scholarships to spring applicants as well. This is huge. As the transfer person in our office, it just put me over the moon. So good news too. Another fun part about that is you just need to be admitted to be considered. So there are priority deadlines outside of the application deadlines for you to be considered for these scholarships. So you just need to be admitted to the university and meet the GPA requirements to be considered. So for spring, it's going to be January 7th. For fall, it's going to be June 1st. There aren't summer scholarship opportunities, but for the long semesters of spring and fall, there are, you will automatically be considered for scholarships if you fall into those criteria. So we're really excited about that. The $500 bonus is also really cool, especially because you guys are NCTC students. If you are completing your Associate of Arts or your Associate of Science and you have at least a 3.0, by the time you transfer to UNT, you will get a one-time $500 bonus just for completing your associates before coming to UNT. So another incentive for students to continue on and finish up their associates. We want to reward you for your hard work. So we have our scholarship opportunities, we have that incentive, and then of course that Frisco incentive for taking classes over there as well. So cost of attendance, this page sometimes freaks me out a little bit. The numbers are sometimes intimidating. However, know that this is without considering any financial aid you're eligible for. This isn't scholarship, it's just bottom line numbers. I'm not going to read through it, so feel free to kind of glance through just quickly, but of course, we want you to fill out your FAFSA, your TAFSA. We want you to get the aid you're eligible for, the scholarships you're eligible for, and then that bottom line number goes way down. So if you have questions about that, we'd love to connect you with our financial aid and scholarship office. But this is kind of the bottom line number, cost of attendance at UNT. So funding your success, I've touched on a couple of these. You've learned a little bit more about the FAFSA and the TAFSA today. We do have tuition plans that you can sign up for to help you manage your payment. It's like a payment plan. The excellent scholarships, as I said, don't require a scholarship. You just have to be admitted by the deadline. And then there are other opportunities. So we do have a general scholarship application that new students can apply for, and continuing students as well. So say you come to UNT and you're in your second semester with us, you can still apply for additional scholarships as a continuing student. There's Emerald Eagles, Multicultural Scholars, Terry Scholars. So lots of opportunities for students to get their education funded and get them going towards success. So that's something, like I mentioned earlier, over 75% of our students do receive some sort of aid, whether that be financial aid and or scholarship. So we're here to help you, we're here to support you, and we want to help you fund your success as much as we possibly can. These are just some brags. Always gotta be proud. Named the best college in the West. Lots of programs in the top 100, and then excellence in community college transfer honor roll. So some things that we're extremely proud of. Some upcoming events, as the world continues to change and we're trying to adapt, we are still planning our spring events. We are having, virtual previews still. Those dates are still to be determined. And we are offering campus tours in person and virtually. So if you're interested in campus tours, be sure to hop on one of those. Coming on campus is where you really find out if it's your home or not. So I always encourage students that if you're able to, whether it's virtual or in person, please get with one of our ambassadors and take a campus tour. And then virtual transfer debut. I'm going to plug this really fast because this Friday, November 20th, is going to be the last transfer debut event where we will guarantee application fee waivers. So if you are interested in joining us, we will have academic advisors available. We will have virtual campus tours. Admissions will be available. And then just by attending the event, if you apply to UNT during the day or a day or two before or after, we will waive your $75 to $90 application fee. So if you're interested, join us this Friday. We'd love to see you. If you're going to register, please do it by the end of the day today because our reminder email goes out with all the instructions. But again, last time we're going to guarantee application fee waivers. And then, of course, connect with us. We do virtual admissions appointments. We do a live chat on our website all the time. We're in person in the office, and we're on social media. So feel free to reach out or directly to me. I'm always happy to help. There's my direct email, and then that's our general phone line. I'm remote half the time. So if you ever call and you want to speak with me, just ask the person on the phone. I'm happy to chat and answer any questions that you may have. And that is all I have for you. Are there any questions that I can answer for anybody? Uh-oh. Oh, I can't hear you, Jeanette.
So sorry. While we're waiting for questions, would you mind going back to your information page? And would that be difficult to pull up?
Not at all.
What I'm going to encourage students to do, if you're watching via live, if you would like to pull out your phone and have it available for any time these contact pages come up from our transfer institutions, I recommend you just take a quick snapshot, and that's the easiest way to maintain that information. And I forgot to remind everyone before Courtney got started. So Paige has a question, Courtney.
Okay, great. If I click off, you won't have my information anymore. So you mind asking it out loud?
Yes, it says, thank you, Courtney, great information. I've been accepted for summer and have received my degree audit from UNT. Any recommendations on how to best work with my NCTC advisor as well as UNT for a smooth transition as I work through the summer semester or spring semester?
Yeah, absolutely. What the biggest thing I could recommend is taking a look at our transfer guides. If a transfer guide is not something you are familiar with, get on Google real quick, UNT transfer guide, and it will literally lay out every single class you could take at NCTC that has a transferable class at UNT that goes towards your major. So working through those transfer guides is very important. because those are what we can, guarantee that will be transferable. So always important. And then of course, just making sure you're registering for orientation, you're ready to go. I mean, I know summer is still a little bit away, so orientation won't happen until later, but just having your NCTC academic advisor kind of guide you along the way with that transfer guide is very important.
Fantastic. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to come back. Stop sharing. Stop. Okay.
And what I can also do really quickly, if you would like, if anyone is interested, I would be happy to place your email in our chat on Facebook Live. So why don't I do that instead? So if anyone is interested in communicating directly with Courtney and you need her email, I'm going to go ahead and put that in the Facebook Live chat, and that way they'll have access to that.
Works for me.
Sound good? Awesome. Do we have any other questions? Do you have any other pearls of wisdom for that NCTC to UNT transfer?
Honestly, the biggest thing I always try to express to our transfer students, especially now, is we're here to help. So times are hard in every single aspect. We're here to support you. So whether that's admissions, whether that's financial aid, if you need extra time, I will go out of my way to make sure you get what you need. I may not always be the best contact, but I will get you the person you need. So I definitely encourage students to reach out when you do have questions. No question is too simple. No question is silly. So we're here to support you to make sure you are prepared to move forward. And know that even if it's not UNT, I'm still going to give you all the best advice I could possibly give, because my role is to support. So take your time and don't feel overwhelmed, because we're here to help.
We actually have a question from Taylor. Taylor has been admitted for spring 2021 at UNT. Is it too late to apply for scholarships for the upcoming semester?
Congratulations, Taylor. No, there isn't a scholarship deadline. So because you were already admitted before January 7th, you will automatically be considered if you have that GPA. And so there's no scholarship application for the Transfer Excellence Scholarship. Now, Taylor, feel free to hop on our general scholarship application. If you go, again, get on Google, get on UNT scholarships, general scholarship application. There's a long list of other scholarship opportunities ranging from all diverse types of criteria. So you can hop on those. Those have varying deadlines, and sometimes those are just for fall. But at least for the transfer scholarship, you'll be considered for scholarships if you meet the criteria, and you don't have to do a scholarship app for that.
Great, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have any other favorite places that you like to tell students that they need to visit when they come to campus or Denton? Absolutely.
So many places on campus. Just go outside. It's beautiful. We have such a gorgeous campus. We have, especially, trying to stay distant, Clark Park. It's right next to Clark Bakery. And if you go hang out, do homework, just eat lunch out there, you can also smell all the cookies they're making, which is a perk. And then, just in Denton in general, the square. I mean, Denton is a great place for food. So LSA Burger, shout out, because I love those burgers. Beth Marie's ice cream, just a super cute shop to get ice cream. So go hang out on the square. There's so many eclectic type of things to do down there as well. So Clark Park, though, is super cool because it's
That's awesome. Courtney, thank you so much for joining us today. And I'll let everyone know that is following us. I will put her email in the Facebook chat. So if you'd like to communicate with her directly, or of course, you can find her on the UNT website.
Absolutely.
So again, Courtney, thank you very much for joining us.
Of course. Y'all have a great day, and let me know how I can help. Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. So now we get to move on to our TWU presentation, and that's going to be Stephanie Stevens. She's the Assistant Director of Admissions, and she's prepared a video for all of our NCTC students to watch, and we would like to bring that video to you now.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Stevens. I serve as Assistant Director of Admissions at Texas Women's University. I'm going to visit with you today about the transfer admissions process and the transfer admission requirements. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start at the home page at twu.edu. This is what it will look like. So I'm just going to scroll down so you can take a look at some of the pretty pictures that we have there. And here is a link to our coronavirus update site. If you have any questions about how TWU is responding to the COVID-19 pandemic, you may go to this front page of the home page and click on the coronavirus site link, and it will answer all your questions. And it is the most current information. They update it regularly. So this is where you would go to find out TWU's response and what we are doing. So that's a good link to have. Here's a video of campus of some of our current students and our mascot, Oakley, in the middle. So this is a cute video that you can see some of the students, current students, and the campus if you have not had a chance to visit in person. We also have a virtual tour available. But right now I'm going to go to this admissions tab and click on admissions, and then scroll down, and we're going to cover the transfer admissions. I'd like to point out this center part here where it says accepted student next steps. We offer you a checklist after you've applied for admission, and you may have already been accepted, but click on this checklist. If you're a first year freshman or transfer student, this is the one that you will use. Scroll down, it will have important things that you need to be aware of and take care of, like creating your Pioneer portal. We're the TW Pioneers, so you're going to create your portal account. If you click here, it's going to take you to this page, and you're going to fill out the information and use your social security number or student ID and set that up. That's real important. Your portal allows you to track your admission status, apply for classes, things like that. The next step is to set up your TW Gmail account, apply for financial aid, and apply for scholarships, orientation, things like that. So this checklist is something that we offer to freshmen, transfer, and graduate students. So this is a nice place to check just to keep yourself on track, make sure you're doing everything that needs to be done. I'm going to click on transfer students here, and we're going to talk about the admissions process. TWU has a rolling admissions, so we accept applications year-round. However, we do have priority dates that we want to make you aware of. We would prefer if you get your information in by March 1st for the fall and November 1st for the spring semester. And we use the Apply Texas application. So you would go to applytexas.org, and then we offer you a link to the academic calendar. So depending on your start term, that will give you dates when registration starts, any deadlines for payments, things like that. We have a link to scholarships, financial aid, housing. And we do encourage you to set up your Pioneer portal after you have applied for admission. And then we also have a link here to where you can check your application status. So you'll be able to see if we're missing anything. Also, there's a link for transfer resources here that's going to be very helpful. So be sure and check that. Now, we're going to cover how to apply as a transfer student. Some of you may not have applied yet, so I want to go over that process. Like I said, we use the Apply Texas application. So you would go to applytexas.org. You would select the transfer admission application for the term that you would like to start at TWU. We have a $50 application fee, and we have several ways that you can pay for that. You can use a credit card, pay with a certified check or money order, or bring cash to our bursar's office window. The quickest way to get it to us is to use your credit card, because when you're on the Apply Texas application, when you get to the last page, it'll ask you how you want to pay your application fee. If you do credit card, plug in your credit card and submit your application. It comes to us within about 2 business days. So check this part if you have questions about options for paying your application fee. And then we have to have official transcripts, and we need official transcripts from each and every college you've attended, college or university. So these can be sent electronically from most institutions. And if they give you a paper or printed copy of your transcript in a sealed envelope, just make sure you do not open that, because if it's opened, it's no longer considered official. And if you are a permanent resident with a permanent resident card, we will need a copy of that card, and all of your admission materials will be sent to our Office of Admissions Processing at the main campus in Denton, and the address is listed here. So this is an important page that kind of gives you a step-by-step guide on how to apply for transfer admission. So I'm going to go up here, and we're going to cover the transfer admission requirements now. We have 2 categories, 2 ways that you can be admitted as a transfer student. The first is assured admission, and this is if you have earned an Associate of Arts or an Associate of Science degree from a regionally accredited college or university in the state of Texas. You must also have at least a 2.0 overall GPA and be in good standing with that institution. Now, some of you may be working on an Associate of Applied Science or a similar degree, and that is not automatically fall under the assured admission category. However, they may fall under our regular admission. So I'm going to move on down to the regular admission requirements. TWU considers you a transfer student once you have completed 12 college level credit hours after high school graduation. And keep in mind that remedial and developmental courses do not count towards that 12 credit hours needed. So if you've completed 12 college level credit hours after high school graduation, you must have a 2.0 GPA on a 4.0 scale and still be in good standing at that institution. And if you meet those requirements, you will be accepted as a transfer student under our regular admissions process. So we do have partnerships with a lot of the community colleges around the whole state of Texas. And we have degree plans, pathways, things like that. So I'm going to show you some of the transfer resources. So I'm just going to click on this transfer resource button and scroll down. So here's where you can find information on scholarships and financial aid. Here's the tuition estimator. So you can click there and plug in whether you're taking 12 hours, 16 hours, or 18 hours, and it will calculate the amount of tuition and fee that it will cost for the number of credit hours you're interested in. We have a Touchstone Honors Program that's just for transfer students. Here's a list of some of the transfer partners and pathways. We have transfer guides, and we have the Texas Common Course numbering system. So these are all good resources if you're trying to find out which courses will transfer from your community college and that sort of thing. So be sure and check that out. Now, I wanted to point out some of these transfer guides because that may be helpful. You can see here that we have a lot of pathways already established with, and these are the degree plans that you can click on your particular degree program and it will show you the 4-year plan. So just know that that's something that's available. Also, at the very bottom of each of our web pages, there are some links to important things, and I hope I'm not going too quickly. I hope you don't get dizzy. But at the bottom of each page, we have this area with our social media links. So you might want to check us out on the social media sites, but there's also a link to your Pioneer portal, your webmail. There's a link to pay for classes. So just know that these are links at the bottom of each page if you'd like to learn more information about any of that. But now I want to thank you for viewing our presentation today on transfer admissions. And if you'd like to continue conversing with our team, you're welcome to do that in our chat feature, and we're happy to answer your questions. But know that we are here. We're glad that you're thinking about joining our Pioneer family, and we're happy to help you. So just let us know if we can be of assistance, and we hope to see you soon. Thanks.
Sorry, Jeanette. There we go.
Do it every time. We're very thankful that we were able to have Stephanie Stevens with us from TWU. Just for your information, if you would like to contact Stephanie directly, her email is sstevens with a V followed by an S, the number 4 at twu.edu. I really encourage you to get onto their website and use their chat feature. If you have any questions about admissions, I know they'll be very helpful for you. Now it's my opportunity to speak with all of you about Midwestern State University, both here in Flower Mound as well as our Wichita Falls location. I'm going to share with you our screen. Let's see here. There we go. And I hope you can see this well. This is our beautiful building at our location, our brick and mortar location in Flower Mound. We're right across Parker Square from the NCTC Flower Mound location. Of course, we are just a sub-campus, and we offer primarily all online learning. And we are 2 hours away from our main campus in Wichita Falls. I'm going to be speaking primarily about Flower Mound today, but I do have a contact and a little more information about our main campus as well if you are interested in going to our Wichita Falls campus. I'm going to tell you a little bit about all of our programs that we offer here out of the Flower Mound location. Again, all of our programs are online, and I'm very excited to share with you one of our newest programs, our educator preparation, or early childhood through 3rd. This does include certification, and why this is so exciting is for those individuals that are currently working in the field of education as paraprofessionals or perhaps teachers' aides. Completing your last 60 credit hours will be accomplished while you are working. So you never have to stop working and earning your paycheck in order to complete your EC through 6 degree. Now, we typically get the question of, well, what if I want to teach 4th, 5th, or 6th grade? You actually can obtain additional certification levels after you've completed your degree. That is a possibility and not very hard to do. And in addition, we also offer a host of wonderful master's degrees programs in education that will even further round out your educator preparation. Specifically for the EC through 3 program, however, it is a competency-based education format. That means that you will be pre-tested to learn how much you know about individual content areas, and based on those outcomes, you will then be educated with the assistance of an individual instructional coach to complete those content areas. It is part of the Texas Affordable Baccalaureate program, and so that means your entire 60 credit hours, the remainder of the program, is $15,000. So these last 60 credit hours of CBE format are self-paced. There are no books. It is fully online, and again, it does have that added advantage of a specific instructional coach that will help you through the process. You can complete this program in 2 years, and that does include your clinical teaching. Again, you do not have to quit your job in order to complete your clinical or student teaching as well. I'm going to talk later about our NCTC special pricing program, which is very exciting too. But just note, but because this is part of the CBE and TAB program, it is not eligible for special pricing. We also have new additional programs in education as well. This is our BS of Education in Early Childhood Studies and Early Care. We actually have a couple students that have already signed up for this program. One who plans to own her own daycare facility, one who is working to be a manager of a facility that she currently works at. We have also opened a Bachelor's of Science in Substance Abuse Counseling, and this includes certification as a substance abuse counselor. And then our BS in Education in Sports and Leisure Studies. One of our most well-known programs is our Bachelor of Applied Arts and Sciences degree, or what we call BAAS program. And this is traditionally for returning or adult learners. However, more and more we're seeing students come straight transfer from NCTC as they complete their associate's degree into a BAAS program. This is especially good for students who may have vocational technical training or hours, and we can utilize those hours as part of the degree plan. Again, the programs are completely online and we can use those vocational technical credits. We can also use TCOL hours if you happen to be a peace officer in the state of Texas. If you have military training or credits, those can also be applied to your degree, and this brings you quicker to your completion. The full program is 120 hours, and at minimum, you must complete 30 through MSU Texas. I would be your primary contact to get started. I think the best way to find out where you stand and how close you are to completing your degree is with a sample degree plan. And you can easily just email me or give me a call, and we can take a look at your credits in transfer from NCTC, as well as other hours, TCOL and military, and see how close you are to graduating. Each of our programs, you'll see this little note at the bottom of each of the slides, is MSU Texas is one of the last liberal arts colleges in the state of Texas, and as a result, it is our goal to graduate strong liberal arts educated students. As such, we have the written proficiency exam that all students must complete prior to graduation. And this is regardless of if you've completed English as part of your core curriculum. It is simply an exam that you will take online where you will write a 5-paragraph essay. It is graded by 3 different graders, and you would receive just a pass-fail. If you pass, you have met your requirement. If you don't pass, we will ask that you take English 2113. Now, for some students who don't like tests very much, you do have the option of just completing the English 2113 course if you choose. A little more about our BAAS major program. We do have specific concentrations, meaning your degree would be a Bachelor of Applied Arts and Sciences degree, but you can focus on specific areas. One of our popular ones, of course, is criminal justice. We also have a concentration in technology. This program sounds like it would be computer science based, but however, it's actually more focused on supply chain management, construction science, and it's very applicable to this area in North Texas, where we have Amazon, 31 Gifts, Mary Kay, where you could be working with logistics and supply chain management. There's also a concentration in childhood and adolescent studies. We see a lot of individuals who have prior degrees in different areas based on education, and they'd like to use that toward completing a bachelor's degree more quickly. Sometimes we have students who complete their BAAS in childhood and adolescent studies and then tack onto it our alternative certification program so that they would then be eligible to teach in the state of Texas. Our human services concentration is a wonderful program for individuals who want to work for nonprofit agencies or maybe want to accelerate their growth as part of their work or workforce already in nonprofit agencies. Healthcare administration is another concentration specific for individuals that may have started with a healthcare major and want to work more on the business side in the healthcare field. We would take those already completed hours in perhaps nursing, radiology, respiratory care, and apply those toward a Bachelor of Applied Arts and Sciences and add additional coursework that makes you hireable within the field of healthcare administration. Human resource development is a very special field that we can offer training to make you hireable as a human resource officer. This is probably one of our most popular programs in growth right now as students are coming back to school to complete their degree and accelerate their employment. The next program we're going to talk about is our RN to BSN. Actually, this would be our most popular program here out of Flower Mound, and I'm very excited to tell you more about our partnership with NCTC, where we can offer an ADN to BSN program, and I'll talk to you about that in just a second. The RN to BSN program essentially is where a certified nurse or RN can complete their Bachelor's of Science in Nursing with 30 credit hours. We begin this RN to BSN program any semester, fall, spring, or summer. In the fall and the spring, courses are offered in both 8 and 16-week sessions. In the summer, they're 5 and 10 weeks. Some courses are always 8 weeks, some are always 16, but it is a combination of such that really accelerates your completion to degree. Our new partnership with NCTC for this ADN to BSN program is very exciting because you can complete your BSN in only 4 semesters while you are completing your ADN. So you can begin your BSN as early as your very first semester as a member of the ADN program at NCTC. You can also choose to start at your very last semester during your ADN. It really is up to you. The only thing to consider is the sooner you start it, the sooner you finish your Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. They have the same fall, spring, and summer start dates and the same course timing. A couple of really great perks to our program. Of course, we are CCNE accredited, and we are recognized by the NLN Center of Excellence in Nursing Education. We do free transcript evaluations if you're just wanting to see what your degree program would look like and want to send those to me. I'd be happy to get a transcript evaluation into a degree plan for you. We offer every RN to BSN course every single term, so you will never be delayed based on when we have courses offered. Again, it is 100% online. We do not have traditional clinicals as part of the RN to BSN, and no mandatory login times as part of our coursework. A lot of students have questions about, well, if I'm enrolled at both campuses, how do I do financial aid? We work really closely with both financial aid offices to develop a consortium agreement because of our partnership, and this would allow you to gain financial aid based on your full enrollment at both institutions. Your financial aid would actually be coming out of MSU because we are the four-year institution, but then any overage that you gain from our financial aid, you would then turn over and pay NCTC tuition with your remaining amounts. We have extremely exceptional retention and graduation rates, and I really encourage you to check the NCLEX passing rates for any RN to BSN program that you may apply to. And we also offer a large number of MSN nurse practitioner pathways after you have completed your BSN. All right, one of our next very popular programs is respiratory care. This is not a program that is offered at a large number of institutions. So our students come to us because the programs are somewhat rare. This program is similar to the RN to BSN in that we take students who currently hold their RRT licensure in respiratory care, and you can complete your bachelor's degree in 30 semester hours after you've completed your core curriculum. You can complete the program in 12 months if your core curriculum is complete, and only 10 courses are needed. And again, 8 and 16-week courses, 5 or 10 weeks in the summer. Our next program is our radiologic sciences. We are actually, MSU Texas and Wichita Falls specifically is extremely well known for our radiologic sciences. We were actually offering correspondence and distance and video courses in radiology as early as the 70s. So we are well known for providing these degrees. Our students can earn a BSRS or bachelor's degree in radiologic sciences if they come to us with their licensure or their ARRT registry. It's very similar to the RN to BSN and RRT to BSRC in that you can you can take these classes at any semester and you will be able to complete your bachelor's within a year. I know UNT and TWU told you about their transfer scholarships, and I highly encourage you to weigh the pros and cons of all institutions that you're attending to find out which one can offer you the best bang for your buck as part of your enrollment. These are the transfer scholarships that MSU Texas can provide NCTC students. If you transfer to us with a 3.5 or higher GPA, you would earn up to $2,000 per year. These are payable for fall and spring terms, and you can also begin these scholarships in the fall or the spring semester. If you transfer with a 3.0 GPA, you would be eligible for $1,500 per year. And once you've achieved one of these two, if you are also a member of Phi Theta Kappa, you would be eligible for an additional $2,500 per year. So this means that if you have a 3.5 higher transfer GPA with Phi Theta Kappa status, you would be eligible for $4,500 per year in transfer merit awards. That's pretty good. If you are not yet a member of Phi Theta Kappa, I would really encourage you to find out how you can become a member, or maybe you have been invited and you just received an email and didn't know why you should join. I encourage you to talk with a Phi Theta Kappa advisor at NCTC to find out the benefits of being a member, both as an NCTC student and based upon the transfer process. We do have very specific deadlines. You must be admitted by July 1 for fall admission and November 1 for spring admission to be eligible for these awards. I mentioned earlier our special tuition and fee rate for NCTC students at MSU. Because of our partnership, we have a great plan for any student that is following our Bachelor of Applied Arts and Sciences degree in these specific concentrations. What that means is essentially you will pay NCTC rates at MSU and complete your degree. So let's say you have 60 credit hours remaining. You will still only pay $190 a credit hour until the completion of your degree. Now, this is variable depending on if NCTC changes their tuition rates. Let's say it goes up to $200 a credit hour. This special rate will go up that amount as well. And please note that this special passing rate or this special rate is not eligible to be used with our transfer merit scholarships. And that is a new change. If you know anyone that is currently in this special rate plan with MSU, maybe they're concurrently enrolled, they are grandfathered and they are fine. But this is a new thing starting spring of 2021. The only things to take into account if you want to be eligible for special pricing is it is just for BAAS majors. Your last school attended must be NCTC, and you must be a first-time student to MSU Texas, and you cannot have already earned a bachelor's degree. Here's just a quick table to see what the cost of attendance is for MSU. Our BAAS, of course, if you meet the requirements for the special pricing, would be $190 a credit hour. Our nursing program, we do have a special rate just to make ourselves more competitive with the DFW area. The full cost of the RN to BSN program is $9,111 or $298 per credit hour. The typical rate for our other programs are about $370 to $400 a credit hour, depending on which college within MSU those classes are offered. And again, because of the Texas Affordable Baccalaureate program, the EC36 program is $750 per course. If you are interested in more information about our main campus in Wichita Falls, I would love to connect you with the admissions counselor, Reggie Peak, and I'm going to show his information in just a moment. But I wanted to share this slide with you that we are offering campus tours in a very safe fashion if you would like to come out and visit in person. Or you can do a virtual tour. You'll see where at this website, uvisit.com/tour/MSU Texas, and you could do a virtual tour. We also have a transfer day coming up on April 23rd in the spring semester. We just recently had a Mustangs rally in October, and we did hold that rally virtually. So at this time, we are still planning on having a live transfer day, but we will update you as to whether or not it's going to stay live depending on certain COVID restrictions. So I do encourage you to come and visit our main campus if you can. So our application admission process is very simple. You go to applytexas.org. There is a $40 admission fee unless you communicate with me, and on special circumstances, we can waive your fee. You're going to provide all of your official transcripts to admissions@msutexas.edu, and of course, apply for your FAFSA. This is the important screen with all the contact information. If you have your phone out and you would like to take a picture, you are welcome to contact me, Jeanette Keene, or Reggie Peak for information about our main campus. I would be very happy to answer any questions, or you're always welcome to call or email me. Are there any questions? I'm going to go back to the slide with my contact information if you would like to take a picture. And I believe Courtney Graves with UNT said something I thought was very, very important, and that is if you're looking at multiple institutions, I encourage you to communicate with your representatives from that institution as much as possible to find out where the best location for you is, for both you and your major. And always ask questions, and we are so very helpful or willing to be helpful in referring you to other campuses. If I find that you're interested in a program that is not best suited for MSU, either here or in our main campus, I know enough about other campuses in the area that I can refer you to an admissions counselor that could be helpful to you as well. So always ask questions, always contact us directly. Never be afraid to make a phone call or send an email, and we are so very happy to assist you. And I do believe we are now ready to hear from Andrea. Andrea Grengrith is with Bellevue University. She's the relationship manager there. Thanks for being with us, Andrea. You might want to unmute, and then you can get started.
Hi guys, my name is Andrea Grengrith and I am the relationship manager with Bellevue University. I apologize for a little bit of technical difficulty. I am going to be on my phone today, but I have a quick presentation for you, and then I wanted to go into some questions, answers, and some more broad information about, or more detailed information about the partnership with NCTC. So if you want to watch the PowerPoint presentation. I'm not sure if you guys can hear the presentation. Okay, so they just told me that there's no sound. So I will go through the presentation or go through the slides as it's being shown. Maybe. Okay, so we have to be honest, the world is changing and it changes fast. Let me get on my presentation as well. Hold on one second. Okay. So through our partnership with NCTC, we prepare students for a new future with a bachelor's degree from Bellevue University. Bellevue University is a private nonprofit institution that was founded in 1966. It's accredited by the Higher Learning Commission. And we have been partnering with successful community colleges across the country for over 20 years, and we're still growing. In the slide with the United States, you can see that we have several different partnerships within each state. Bellevue University and North Central Texas College partner to help you get the most out of your degree. You work hard for your credits, and we want to make sure that you keep them because your time and money matters. Bellevue University offers one of the most generous credit transfers in the nation, and it saves you both time and money. So when you earn your degree at Bellevue University, we accept 100% of your associate's degree. We accept all of your courses for any associate's degree that you receive. It starts with 60 credit hours that you receive at NCTC with your associate's degree. We encourage you to complete your 18 elective hours at NCTC and then 49 total credits from Bellevue University, which equals your 127 credit hours to receive your bachelor's degree. This degree prepares you for everyday's workforce, but it also prepares you for jobs in the future. We know that adult learners have unique needs and expectations, and we get that. So your family, you have community, you have your job, and you are also trying to pursue an advanced degree at the same time. So we call it real learning for real life. We have over 40 programs. Actually, I believe it's over 50 now. In leadership management, marketing, communication, information technology, business, public service and safety, healthcare, and human resources are just a few. And with nearly 25 years of experience in online, Bellevue University is one of the most experienced universities. We offer online, accelerated, and connected learning formats. Online is 100% online and it's asynchronous, so you can attend class anytime where it's convenient for you. And in connected learning, you can get your degree virtually, also while participating real time with your professors and peers. Life keeps going, and we know your goals do as well. So it's the perfect time to take the next step in your career, or you can begin a new one. You can contact me today and we'll have a quick conversation about your goals. We'll talk about what's the right degree for you, how you can accelerate to graduation by transferring your full associate's degree, how online or connected learning works with Bellevue University, and we'll take your degree to the next level. It's affordable. We'll talk about how your pricing for a bachelor's degree would be, scholarships and grants that are available, and how you can benefit from the partnership between NCTC and Bellevue University. So you can credit your transfers with no fees. You'll have on-campus support, and you'll have personalized advice towards your specific goals. Again, this is my contact information. Anytime you apply, you want to make sure you go through the portal for NCTC, which is transfer.bellevue.edu/NCTC. And we want to make sure that you get your goals through Bellevue, or reach your goals through Bellevue University. And just remember that we are accredited by the Higher Learning Commission. So now I just wanted to go over some more detailed information about the partnership that we have. Like I mentioned before, Bellevue University does offer more than 50 bachelor's degrees, and many are a good pathway directly from your associate's degree. If you wanted to change pathways, we can diversify your plan. We make sure that your degree options are met. We help you get there. We have many cohort options with no prerequisites. We do offer virtual tours and virtual orientation for students or for students that are interested. And when I mentioned real learning for real life, the content of our learning is real. It's a curriculum created by subject matter experts, faculty, and those who are practitioners. It's practical and it's application-based, so you don't have to focus on theory or historical basis of that subject, but you'll be asked to do things like create a profit and loss statement for your department and analyze it, or examine a competitor's marketing campaign and determine the strategy toward millennials. So it's very hands-on and it's in the moment. When financing your degree, we do accept financial aid. We also have scholarships, grants, and loans available. We work with many companies across the United States and offer tuition assistance as well as deferral programs. We have self-pay through cash. We also accept military tuition assistance and GI educational benefits. Some of the student resources that we offer is a one-stop service center. We do have an online university bookstore. We offer tutoring and study skills. We have a writing center, a testing center, disability services, technical services, career services, and an online library 24/7. You'll also receive a student coach that helps you every step of the way. Our admissions process is extremely easy. So you'll speak with your relationship manager, which would be me first, to determine your goals, and we'll do a preliminary credit evaluation. In this, we'll see how close you are to reaching your transfer goal. Once we determine where you're at and you're ready to submit your application, you can do that at any time. There's no specific deadlines. Your fee will be waived. It's $50 for bachelor's and $75 for graduate as NCTC students, or if you go through me. And then we determine the best financial option. We also offer a professional college advisory session. And in this, we talk about expectations. We know that you have expectations and we do too. So we want to make sure that we're the right fit for one another. We also know that adults learn differently than traditional students. And we want to make sure that the learning that you're going to receive is preparing you for real life situations. We'll talk about time commitments and how long it can take you to complete your degree. Most of the programs are 18 to 24 months to complete. We'll talk about any fears or assumptions that you may have, and then your goals. And then we'll also have you complete an academic readiness assessment since it's completed 100% online. And once we make sure that everything is a good fit, we get you admitted and enrolled, and you would start your classes. I mentioned that we have the cohort, and then we also do have a traditional program as well. So Bellevue University is set up in 4 terms or semesters. But if you enroll in a cohort, one of the convenient and really cool things about that is you start your program with a group of students and you go through the entire 18 months of that program with the exact same students. So you build a rapport and a good network. So you'll all graduate at the same time, and you do one class for 6 weeks and roll through the entire program. And if you're used to a traditional format, we offer that as well, where it would be a 12-week term, and you would enroll into however many classes you're comfortable attending, and you would enroll each semester or term into your classes. That is all the information that I have. I am open for questions if anybody has any. And then if not, again, my information to email me is agranguth@bellevue.edu. And I do apologize again for no presentation or not being able to share my screen to walk you through some of the things I just talked about, but I am definitely here if you want to talk more about your educational goals or some of the resources that we have. I would definitely love to help you with that. So.
Thanks, Andrea. We appreciate it. Technology is not always our friend, even though we want to use it all the time, right?
Yes.
Well, are there any questions for Andrea and Bellevue University? And I think what we have coming up next, we will hear from Stephanie Stevens, who you've already met with the TWU admissions office, but she has some information to share specific to non-traditional students. In this video, she's going to talk specifically to you and how your transfer experience can be assisted as a non-traditional student. So we look forward to hearing from Stephanie with TWU.
One second, let me restart that with sound, you guys.
Hello, I'm Amy O'Keefe, Executive Director for CARE, which is Campus Alliance for Resource Education here at Texas Women's University. And I'm joined today by our fabulous Associate Director, Jessica Birchfield, who is going to share her screen here in a moment so we can share some information about what we do for transfer students at Texas Women's. So again, I'm in the CARE unit with Jessica, talking today about transfer students. So here you can see our whole team, myself, Jessica, Bridget, who is our C Campus, which is a child care subsidy grant coordinator, and Melanie, our business manager. This is our team. We're here year round. You can find us on the website, through email, phone. We are here for you. And as well on social media. So this office helps students who are off campus, as well as some special populations that we're going to describe further. But what's easy to remember is CARE. Just Google CARE on the university site and you can find us, or off campus on our social. So with that, I want to give you a little overview of what you can expect from our department. So you can see this is a screenshot of our website, and it talks about the different types of services as well as the different types of students that we work with. And we're going to spend a few minutes going through some of that with you today. I'm going to hand it over to Jessica to talk about one of the things that we do that's a big part of what makes our office special, which is financial well-being.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Okay, so financial wellness is important to us, and I'm sure it is important to all of you. And it's just great to know that we are here for you, no matter what questions you have, or if you don't know where to start, you can always start with the CARE office. And one of the things that we do a lot in our office is working on financial wellness, whether that be helping with emergency aid or helping navigate through one-on-one financial coaching. We are here for you to make sure that you are getting what you need from a financial wellness perspective, and that you can feel empowered to make the correct money choices for you being a student here at Texas Women's. Some of the other things that we offer are child care stipends for students who have children. We have the Frontiers program here, which is for students who have aged out of foster care or foster care alumni. For our veteran students, we have a Boots to Books stipends opportunity. And then Mobile Food Pantry is a monthly food pantry option for students, faculty and staff and community members. Actually, it's where you can receive fresh produce on a monthly basis. And the one thing that I forgot to mention was that we are a cash course campus. And so if we in the CARE office aren't enough for you to get you on the right track whenever it comes to financial wellness, Cash Course is there to help you with that, help you build your budget, create savings plans for yourself, or really just understand a little bit more about what it means to take a student loan and how that's going to work for you in the future. So these are some ways that we help all of our students. Now, Amy is going to talk a little bit more about off-campus housing.
Great, thank you, Jessica. One other thing I wanted to mention also under food, because Jessica and I both really love food, is that in addition to the mobile food pantry, the university also has a pantry of non-perishable items that is available for students every day of the week. So we do want to share that. So off-campus housing. So if you're thinking about moving to Denton or Dallas or Houston, any of our campuses, we have information on the website. But first, I want to talk about our students. I'm sorry, Jessica. Thank you. First, I threw you for a loop there. First, I want to talk about our students on our Denton campus. We do have a residency requirement, and on the slide, you can see what some of those stipulations are. If you are going to be not living in university housing and you fall within the requirement and you have questions, please call our housing department. They're super helpful, or you can look on the housing website and they can walk you through explaining what this means and how to make the best decision for yourself and for your family. And if you're also thinking about that you would like to live on campus, we do have transfer students living on campus. It's a great part of the experience of being here at TWU. We actually even have a transfer living learning community. So that's a special floor in one of our residence halls that's all transfer students. So lots of options, whether you're living off campus or living on. University Housing is a partner. And of course, you can always call our department if you're having questions. So now I can talk about finding off-campus housing and roommates. One really neat thing is if you're planning on living off campus, but you'd like to live with another TWU student, through this website link that's on our website, it'll take you through the portal. where you can meet other TW students also looking for housing. So that's a neat resource we wanted to share. And with that, I'm going to hand it back to Jessica to talk about eating.
Yes, Amy can't be the only one who gets to talk about food. Okay, so I would just like to say that there are a lot of students who come to campus and that pack their lunch. But for those of you who are looking to eat while you are on campus in between classes, we have a variety of food options available. These options are located throughout our Denton campus and throughout a lot of the different academic buildings, and then also in the dining hall and in the student union. The part that I want you to understand today is that there are meal plans available to you as a commuter student. And the cool part about signing up for those early is that they can be part of your financial aid package. Like your financial aid package could pay for your meal plan if that works out for you. And so this is just something that we want you to know. If you're going to be eating at campus frequently, having a commuter meal plan may be an option for you, but they also take cash and card just like every other business. Oh, and then finally, meal plans, they do not expire at the end of the semester. They are good for the entire year. So if you don't use it all in fall, you'll still have some for spring.
Great, thank you. So transportation, getting around campus, getting around the Denton, North Texas area. You can see this person, a student on her bike, getting across campus. So one thing we want to make you aware of is the train. So there's a train. Next slide, please. Thanks. DCTA, Denton County Transportation Authority, does run the A train through along I-35, and it connects to DART. Both of these websites are really great. The DCTA website and the DART website are really easy to understand, as well as information on our website. One thing I want to highlight is that if you're commuting regularly, look at the DCTA website for the university pass to get a discount. And that will be really helpful if you're a regular train commuter. But a lot of people drive in North Texas, and parking, here we go. What does parking mean on the Denton campus? So our campus system is permit required. So if you are going to park on campus, you do need to have a decal. That whole, all of our parking is managed by our public safety, our Department of Public Safety, and they will be the ones to communicate when permits are available, that sort of thing. And you can find all that information easily on the website. While I'm mentioning our Department of Public Safety, they are fully licensed police officers that are here around the clock. And one of the things that they do so well is their number one priority, obviously, is keeping campus safe. We recently learned that Texas Women's is in the top 50 in the country for safety, for safe campuses. So being both an employee here and really appreciating the safety for our students, I think that's something that we're really proud of. And some of the ways that we achieve that is we have different emergency poles. So you can see the poles, the telephones. We have the Pioneer Alert System. This is an emergency system that you'll be alerted in real time of a crisis. Jessica and I happen to have a favorite crisis, which is called the snow day.
Snow day.
So hopefully 2021, maybe we'll see a snow day where we can all stay in our jammies and drinking hot chocolate. That would be fantastic. But again, our public safety department is a resource for you. Their number one interest, of course, and commitment is to safety, but they also want you to have a great experience while you're here at TW, and they want people to know that you can reach out to them if you ever have a question. Okay, shifting gears, I want to talk about some of our different students and what we do for our different students. So students who have children, we have all kinds of programs that are family friendly. And on this next slide, you can see a list of some of the different activities we provide for students who have children. As a result of this work, we were recently ranked the #1 public university in the country for students with children. We're super proud of that. One of our favorite traditions, which you saw on the previous slide, is called Family Graduation Celebration, where it's a special ceremony where the entire family gets to be a part of a ceremony to recognize the work of being a student and a scholar and a parent. So it's just such a joy, that ceremony, and we really love it. It goes deep into the history of why Texas Women's is so special. Another thing we do for students who have children is try to provide information around childcare. We recognize that childcare can be a huge obstacle to being able to stay in school and graduate. So we recently were awarded a federal grant to help pay for stipends. Bridget oversees that program. So if you have interest in that, actually you can just go ahead and apply on our website. Spark is our student organization, which Jessica advises, and she's going to explain a little bit more about that. We have, as you can see, some other information on how we serve students who have children. And with that, I'm going to shift it over to Jessica to talk about being a pioneer.
Yes, being a pioneer. Okay, so fun facts for all of you. I am a double alumni of Texas Women's, and I am still here working professionally. And I think it is safe to say that I love Texas Women's University and the culture that it offers. And one of those reasons why I love it so much is because I got involved as a student. And this is a quote from one of our previous transfer student. His name is Randall. And he said, being a transfer student at TWU has opened doors of opportunity and success for me. It has given me a place to call home, and I will always be a proud member of the TWU Pioneer family. I relate to this so much. I think that the sentiment is so true to those who have the opportunity to get involved and to really not only experience what Texas Women's has to offer and that culture of caring, but to be a part of it and to continue that legacy forward. So with that, I want to share with you some ways that you can get involved here as a pioneer at TWU. A couple of ways are with honor societies, being involved in an honor society. I advise two different societies. One of them is Alpha Sigma Lambda. That's for students who are non-traditional students. And then Epsilon Omega Epsilon, that is students who are online students. And also fun fact about EOE is that it was founded here at Texas Women's University, and it's the only honor society for online students. So if you are a non-traditional student or an online student and you are a scholar, then be expecting an email to be involved in one of these organizations, and we look forward to having you as a member whenever that time comes. Another organization we have is the Student Veterans Association. Amy is the advisor of SVA, and this is a great place for veteran and military affiliated students to get connected and find that support system that I've been talking about. And then Spark, as Amy said, I advise Spark. It's Student Pioneers Also Raising Kids. This is for students that are parents. And the cool part about this program is that it's not only connecting you with other students, but Spark members are educated about the resources that are available not only in the care office, but throughout the university and in the community that would be helpful for you to know about as a student who has children. It's a really great place to kind of have that insider tip and a way to get involved and be connected here at Texas Women's. So we're hoping that you all become engaged, connected pioneers, and we're really excited that you came and involved yourself in this presentation with us. This is how you can get connected with Amy or I if you have any questions after watching this video. We really appreciate your time with us here today, and welcome to Texas Women's.
That was awesome. We do have one more transfer connection video from Texas Women's to play right here. Uh-oh. Let me stop that really quickly and log in. We've actually almost made it halfway through our resource fair today, so that's pretty exciting. Thank you all for joining us today. Let me get that video pulled up 1 second. All right, there we go. And this is just a quick video about once you're accepted into TWU's transfer program, okay? So let me start with that one.
Hey Pioneers! Today I'll be here to help walk our transfer students through our transfer checklist. So let's get started. The first thing you need to do is set up your Pioneer Portal account. Pioneer Portal is a TWU account where students can find information about class registration, getting your textbooks, viewing your grades, requesting transcripts, and so much more. In order to create your account, you need to go to our TWU website, twu.edu. Once you're there, in our top left-hand corner, there's a drop-down arrow and select Accepted Students. This will take you to our Accepted Students page. And on this page, there is a checklist for our transfer and first-year students. The first link will take you to create your Pioneer Portal account. Fill out the information here and you will be able to create your account. If you don't know your student ID number, you can use your Social Security number. Once you've created your Pioneer Portal account, you now have access to your Gmail created by TWU. Your username at twu.edu will be your login information. You also have access to WebAdvisor, which is used for getting your textbooks and applying for graduation, as well as self-service, which is where you can register for classes, view your financial aid, and see your grades. Next, we have to make sure that our FAFSA is completed and sent to our TWU Financial Aid office. Make sure to send this in as soon as possible so that financial aid can process your application and give you your award letter. We also have a scholarship application within our financial aid department, which is online, our Pioneer Scholarship System, so don't forget to complete that too. Now we can sign up for orientation. Orientation will be online this year and it is optional for our transfer students. There is so much information that we give about our school as well as registration, so it is really great opportunity. You can register for transfer orientation right here. If you choose not to participate in orientation, you can get advised and register for your classes. Go to the advisor page and then you click on New Transfer Student Advisors. Select your major and then you can set up an appointment with your advisor and get registered for classes. If you are under the age of 22, it is required for our students to have the meningitis shot. You can send a copy of your meningitis shot record to our admissions processing. You can email a copy of your shot record to them at oap@twu.edu. Housing is required for all students who are under the age of 21 or have less than 60 credit hours. You can fill out your application on our housing website. Depending on how many credits that our students have, you will be placed in a certain residence hall. If you live in Parliament Village or in Gwen and Stark Halls, you are required to have a meal plan, which is something that you can also sign up for with your housing application. We also have family housing available in our Lowry Woods community. Once your bill is made available, you can make payments or set up a payment plan online. You can go to Current Students, select Pay Online, and this will take you to our billing center. You click the student login information and you'll be able to view your account as well as set up a payment plan and make payments. Here at TWU, we have a department on campus that caters to our transfer and commuter students, Campus Alliances for Resource Education, also known as CARE. On their website, you will find information about off-campus living, childcare, as well as transportation. Finally, make sure to submit your transcripts from other colleges to our admissions processing office. You can send it electronically or have it sent in a sealed envelope to our admissions processing office.
Wow, what great information. That was awesome. I've learned so much. And Andrea and Jeanette, I think you're muted.
Every time. I'm so sorry. I have to say, the one thing that's brought up to me that I always try to share to students is that you typically have questions at 11 or 12 p.m. at night. And that is always when you want an answer right away. And I think what those screens or those videos showed you is that university websites are very robust and have a lot of information. And all you have to do is type in your question into that search bar, and more than likely you can have your question at least partially answered. So I
That's
would
right.
always start there and then go to people like me or Stephanie or Simone or Nicole with the Go Center. So that's always a good place to start.
You know, I always think about our transfer students from NCTC that go on to the big boy and the big girl colleges is what I like to call them. And sometimes you just feel like, oh, the unknown is so scary for you. But, you know, I assure the students if they can make it through NCTC, they can make it through anything, because the associate's degree, in my opinion, is the hardest degree to obtain. And so that gets them that gets them a little bit more comfortable knowing that the information they're going to be learning is fascinating, and they are going to start out with their courses in their major, and most of them are very happy about that. So I do want to encourage our NCTC students who are transferring, who are non-traditional, don't worry, you got it. It's in the bag.
Roxanne, can I ask, or anyone who wants to jump in, can you define what a non-traditional student is, and some of the different types of students who fall into that category?
Yes. Traditionally, the age here at NCTC is 18 to about 21, 23, and it's anybody who's over the age of 23, 25 would be considered non-traditional because they're working full-time, or they have their families. They've been out in the workforce and they're coming back to school to get their advanced degree. And so we do have a lot of that. We even have here at NCTC somebody who's 72 and getting her degree. Miss Mary is one of our student veterans, and she is getting her associate's degree this semester, and so we are really proud of her.
That's going to be a celebration.
Yes, for her and her family.
Right?
She's awesome. She is awesome. But again, you've done it. Anybody can do it. So non-traditional students who are working to get their bachelor's degree, we applaud you. And you're going to do it because we believe in you. So your success is our success.
I think one of the tips for success is if you can get involved, do so. And obviously you saw by that last video or 2 videos ago that they have organizations for students that are distance learners. So there's always ways to make connections, if not through an organization, but through online chat features as part of your classes or with faculty members. And sometimes that first breakthrough is hard and kind of scary. How am I going to make these connections at this new place? And I always recommend it only takes one person. It just takes that connection with one person, whoever that is. Find that one person that's going to be your rah-rah, your cheerleader. They may not know everything, but they know something, or at the very least, they know who knows what you need to know. And so if you find that one connection, of course, Roxanne would be the perfect person at NCTC, but who is that person at the campus you're going to that will be that conduit and pathway to what you need to know?
Right. Studies show, and statistics, there are a lot of strong statistics out there that show the more you're engaged with your college or university, the more likely you're going to get your education. You're going to obtain your degree because you are engaged, because you feel more connected, because then if you have an issue, you know who to go to. There are wonderful professors you can reach out to who will tell you where to go in administration to get the help that you need. And there's always so many resources, whether you're dealing with personal issues at home or whether you're dealing with academic issues. And this goes for non-traditional students too. I deal a lot with students who have broken up with their girlfriend or their boyfriend. Well, first of all, they're not supposed to have one, but I can't do anything about that. So we talk to them because what they're going through is situational. Time will heal. So we talk to them about healthy relationships and that sort of thing. And then here at NCTC, it carries on to UNT, TW, MSU, Bellevue. They all have lots of resources out there for you. So not only personally, but also academically. And Jeanette and Andrea can talk a little bit about that because they're at universities now.
Actually, I'm kind of curious because we've heard recently from UNT and TWU, but MSU, Flower Mound, and Bellevue are primarily distance learning, online learning. So I'm curious from Andrea, what do you think about ways we lost her. I was going to see what she thought about ways to connect as a distance learner, because sometimes that is kind of confusing. How do you make those inroads when you're literally studying from your house? I think the first recommendation that I have for distance learners is sometimes studying from your house is not the right place. Just because it is a distance degree doesn't mean that you have to do it at your house. And I think a lot of people going through COVID are learning that the house is not the best place for them to do their work or do their schoolwork. So Andrea, I'm going to get your input about how to be the best distance learner that you can be. But for example, here in Flower Mound, we actually have a study center upstairs that students have access to computer terminals if they want to come up and use that location, because I'm sorry, studying right next to your bed is just not a great idea all the time. Or find your favorite coffee house or park, or I do know students that have sat in their car outside of Starbucks because they could still get the Wi-Fi and complete their coursework, and it wasn't in their bedroom. So that is kind of one of my recommendations, finding that healthy place to study. Andrea, do you have any suggestions?
No, I definitely agree. I think making sure that you're comfortable and making sure that you're adequately prepared for your class anytime. The awesome thing about online and in our format that's asynchronous, you can do it anytime, anywhere. So I think as long as you're someplace comfortable and you're prepared for your classes, then that's awesome. And I think it's really cool that so many other campuses have learned to do online and are getting into the virtual world, because I think students having that flexibility is going to be really convenient for them. It's just learning a little bit in the beginning about the best situation for them. Maybe doing their classes in bed's not the best for them. That's, it's figuring that out. But some people, that might be where they do their best work because they're comfortable and relaxed and can.
Oh,
we lost her. Darn.
Yeah. But I do agree. One of the things that we forget is that there's that wonderful resource called the website. And there's some resources, and there's lots of resources on the website that if you just find that search engine and Google food pantries for that university, you probably can find them. And I'll be talking a little bit about, while you're still students here at NCTC, some of the resources we have that students kind of forget about. So check out that website, because there's lots of resources there that will help you, whether or not you need help with trying to decide how to take notes in class, what's the best way, how to footnote MLA and style. Just about anything you need, you can find on that website. So I'm going to ask you to take advantage of that, looking up on that university's website. Lots of these websites have people that you can call and talk with if that resource is not clear. But take an opportunity and give them a call, because I tell our students all the time, we're not mind readers. You have to tell us what's going on in your life. We're here to help, and once you walk on that university or college campus, you're going to find somebody that will help you. I guarantee it.
Yeah. And I think a lot of students don't realize that for both on-campus learners or distance learners, especially in time of COVID, where almost everyone is distance, is that universities have tutorial and supplemental instruction programs for distance students too. And I think they just don't think that that would be possible. But if one thing COVID has taught us is that universities have to be prepared for distance learners. And it's really been a huge boon for those students because now everyone is in that situation. So if you find that you need tutorial assistance, I promise you, your university is going to offer it to you even virtually.
Yep, I do agree.
Hey, it's been great for us. I mean, as horrible as a pandemic, but universities are following the challenge with really good resources. So,
Okay.
Awesome. Well, Dr. Del Rio, why don't
Yes.
you take us into our
The
next
next section
section?
I'm really excited about because I love student organizations. As I was talking to you about before, they're great ways to make connections, to be successful on a college or university campus. And in this case, here at NCTC, while you're here, and then for you to get involved at your next university. So, as I said, student organizations are an exciting way to become engaged with our campus community. All of our student meetings are virtual, which is great because you don't have to worry about getting from one classroom to the next to attend the next meeting. By joining student organizations, you will have the opportunity to become a leader while learning leadership skills for your next chapter of your academic career. So this section, we're going to hear from Tasha Jackson, NCTC Elite Team member, who will share a video and presentation about becoming involved as an NCTC Elite Team member. I know, Andre, let's say Elizabeth. Oh, there she is.
My name is Tasha, and I'm a member of the NCTC Elite Team, and I'm here to share more about our program with you. The NCTC Elite Team is a paid peer-to-peer mentoring group that helps students in our community. We do this by helping future students apply for college and for FAFSA, and we also help our current students find resources that they may need help with in the community. To apply to join our team, all you have to do is apply for financial aid and qualify. Also, you need to fill out a work study application and contact Dr. Del Rio for an application to join our team. Joining our team is a great way to help not only your fellow students, but also yourself. So go ahead, get started today and join us.
Thank you, Tasha. That was so enlightening. I run the NCTC Elite Team member and team actually, and our members get to go out and serve the community. And so if you are wanting to do just that, please contact me at rdelrio@nctc.edu. Our next speaker will be Camelia Grant, trio coach and advisor for the Corinth campus, who will talk to you a little bit about the Black Student Organization. And we're so excited to have her here. She's our advisor, and she's going to talk to you about this amazing opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Del Rio. So a little bit about BSU, or the Black Student Union. Our mission of the North Central Texas College BSU is to provide information, raise awareness, and be proactive in all aspects pertaining to common interests of students of color at our institution. We offer fellowship, resourceful networks, and we strive to elevate our social, political, and intellectual growth. Specifically, we like to have topics or discussions surrounding our climate and environment, especially now during COVID, where we're all virtual and we're all just needing a place to just kind of come together and meet and just discuss different topics. Some topics we have discussed is health, academics, social issues, political awareness, culture, social justice issues, things like that. Our goal is to uplift, empower, and support, and bring out the best in our members. One misconception that we always get is that you have to be Black to be a part, Black or African American to be a part of the Black Student Union, and that is not the case. We invite all students, no matter what your race, culture, ethnicity, to come and join us. Just come and join us with an open mind. This is an environment, a safe environment for all students to just kind of have a collective ideal of who we are, who we want to be, and how we want to express ourselves on the campus as well as in our community. NCTC's BSU was first founded in 2018 by one of our trio students, Cameron Mitchell, and it has been striving over the last couple of years. And as we are getting more involved in our on campus as well as the community, our future goals and hopes is that we are able to be on all campuses, all NCTC campuses, as well as collaborate with UNT's and TWU's Black Student Union, as well as other Black student unions in the area, the DFW area, to just promote empowerment, raise awareness about any social justice issues that are maybe going on, be a resource, be active listeners, and again, just to create that safe space for all students. Like I said, whether you're a student of color or you are a student of another race or ethnicity. So if you have any questions, you are more than welcome to reach out to me. My email is cdunn, that's CDUNN, at nctc.edu, or you can also reach out to the staff advisor, Danae Mitchell. Her email is mitchell@nctcll.nctc.edu, and we'll be more than happy to help you out and get you connected to our resources. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I hope to see some of you guys in our next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Camelia, for taking time to share our vision for our Black Student Union Association. And I do want to encourage you to get involved. You will, if you look for Camelia's information on our website, you will find it. But please try to get involved, because we need students to become involved because we want to hear what they have to say. We want to hear what they want us, how they want us to pursue certain issues. And if you're not a part of that team, then you can't. We don't know, because we don't read minds. So we want you to be part of the Black Student Union Association so that your voice can be heard. Thank you so much, Camelia. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Next, we have Patricia Amador, who's our vice president of the Student Government Association, who's going to talk to you about getting involved with SGA. Hi, Patricia.
Hi, Dr. Del Rio. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for being here.
Anytime. Thank you for inviting me. So basically, NCTC SGA is here to help all of our students with either information, or if they want to participate in like the mobile food pantry or with the campus cleanups or any other volunteer events that we have going on. If this were a regular year, we would be doing a lot more community service and events for our students. But because of COVID, all that we're doing right now is we're meeting online every third Tuesday of the month, and we're trying to come up with ways to help serve our students better. Right now, all that we really do is just present information to students if they need help or if they need any resources. We help students, like if they have some kind of emergency or they have a friend that's experiencing a lot of depression or anxiety, we direct them to the NCTC Cares website, or we also let them know that NCTC has emergency student funds in case there's like a really big emergency that a student is going through. Right now, we are hosting a food drive that started on Monday and it's going to end on Friday. There should be boxes at every entrance of each campus where students can go donate food. That will end on Friday though, so if you guys have any food to donate, please go ahead. The next meeting that we have scheduled is for February 16th. That is next semester, and we did have our last meeting yesterday. But if you're interested, please contact me at ama.del.rio DORP255297 at student.nctc.edu, or you can contact our advisor, Daisy Garcia, at dgarcia@nctc.edu. Thank you.
Great. It's always great to see you, and thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. You know, the SGA student organization is the official student organization that gets to tell the president, the chancellor, the board of regents how to run NCTC. So if there's an issue, your voice is through SGA. So think about getting involved. So thank you, Patricia, for being here, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you so much. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Finally, we have Chelsea Chambly, president of Ignite, which is our foster care student organization, that's going to talk to you about getting involved. Miss Chelsea. Hey, Chelsea.
Hello, guys. How are you, Dr. Roxanne?
Good. Good to see you.
Good to see you, too. I'm getting my PowerPoint set up.
Yeah, go ahead. Chelsea, if you don't mind, before you start with your PowerPoint, can you talk a little bit about yourself? Because you have an amazing story.
Oh, sure. I am finishing up here at NCTC, very sadly.
Yes.
But it is exciting. I'm moving to Texas Women's to finish out my degree in social work to become a social worker. I was in foster care and was adopted, so I have a really big heart for foster care students and children in general. I feel like they need another voice to help them. And so when I was asked to become a part of Ignite, it was just, oh my gosh, it was just the easiest yes I've ever made. So I'm here to support those foster kids that feel like they are just the statistic and to show them that they are not the statistic.
Great. So, you ready to start?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Take it away,
right.
Miss Chelsea.
All right. Can you guys see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So NCTC, we call this Ignite. It is a foster care alumni. The Ignite Student Organization Program is designed to help students who have experienced foster care. Nationally, between 1% to 9% of students who have been in foster care will graduate from higher education. NCTC is working to improve the higher education attainment for the foster care alumni. All students need support and guidance while attending college. The Ignite Student Organization provides that support. So some of the activities that we do, we're doing a lot of virtual activities because of COVID, but we've done Kahoot with Zoe's Place, and Scriblio is something else that we've done that's been really fun. And if you guys have any other recommendations, we are all ears. We love, love, love opinions and ideas. The NCTC Foster Care Affinity Group. It has mentors that can connect you with special resources that you have to access a foster care student. The group provides support and assistance to guide foster care alumni along the path to their degree. And you can set up a one-on-one appointment with one of the affinity group members at the nctc.edu/affinity groups/foster care affinity group. And if you need to get more into contact, my email is chambly.chelsea@gmail.com, or you can also email Dr. Roxanne at rdelrio@nctc.edu, or if you just are interested in joining the program. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Chelsea. Do we have any questions for Chelsea? You have any questions? I just, I really, really encourage anyone who's foster care to join this organization, because we give them lots of support. We want them to succeed. We want you to succeed. And so when you get involved, we know we can help you succeed. So Chelsea is a very good resource for you, even though she is going to TW next semester. She will always be here to support our foster care alum.
Yeah.
So thanks, Chelsea.
Thank you so
you.
much.
Oh, wait, is there monetary help for foster alum? Yes, we do have scholarships and scholarship opportunities for our spring semester is coming up. April 15th is our scholarship deadline, and for the fall, it's October 15th. So be sure to fill out the general application, and it'll match you with the scholarships that we do have. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Any more questions? I guess not.
Not right now. Roxanne, if it's okay with you, I was going to walk through our student services page to highlight a few of the other student organizations.
Sure, that is awesome.
Anyone else speak if they have any student organizations at the other universities that they want to mention? I'll mention those as well, but I wanted to go ahead and go through ours if that's okay.
You are welcome to, Elizabeth.
Okay, let me pull up that screen here. Okay, can you guys see the student services page? Can you guys see that okay and still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So like Jeanette and Roxanne and so many others mentioned earlier, this is just on our website. If you ever have a question, feel free to use that search right up top and search student services. Student life is also right here in our navigation bar at the home page. So this is where you can find a lot of information on some of the stuff that we just spoke about. I know you heard about the Student Government Association, SGA. This page is where you're going to find that information where you can come look. Once you go into there, you'll see their meeting information, the officers like Patricia, who we just heard from, and some different information about joining those. So other than student government, we also have our honor societies. I know Jeanette talked a lot about Phi Theta Kappa earlier, and just the opportunities that come from Phi Theta Kappa as far as transfer and transfer scholarships. So if Phi Theta Kappa is something you're interested in, you can find that information on this page as well. We have study abroad opportunities at the point that we're able to travel again. We're planning some of those hopefully for the end of 2021 and into 2022. We have, as some of the other universities have mentioned, we do have some more intramural sports teams that people can join, volunteer opportunities, leadership opportunities. And then these student groups, which were mentioned just now. Here's a photo of our Black Student Union at an event last year. And so this student groups page is a great place because like some of the other universities, we just have a ton of student organizations. And we welcome any student who is not finding that place to fit in or finding that group that they're longing for. We welcome any student to fill this out to start a student organization. These are the simple steps that you can go through to request that approval, and we highly encourage that. But here's where you'll find information about some of the stuff you heard about, including the Black Student Union, our Latino Leadership Council, Spectrum Alliance, again, some SGA, Students in Action, Phi Theta Kappa, all kinds of organizations. And then this affinity groups page, I really wanted to show you all because it's something that we've actually launched really relatively recently. And so we wanted to show you that these are some of the affinity groups that we are recognizing and dedicated to supporting at NCTC. So we heard from a couple of them. There's Chelsea's picture there on the foster care thumbnail. I think that's awesome. But on this page, you'll be able to find more groups. We wanted to include our adult learners. We've talked about non-traditional students today. This is a place where they can come to find students who are in the same boat as them, students who are struggling with the same things, who might have advice on things that you're wondering about that you don't even know what to ask about. This is a great resource for that kind of thing. Students who are trying to get their GED to enroll in classes, our Latinx community, students who have children. We've touched on that a little bit today because, you know, the struggles to each of these groups are unique. And so we want you to be able to find those people who understand what you're going through, who you can use as sort of a resource, and who can really help support you in, you know, your time at NCTC. So these affinity groups we're really proud of. We also have the rural communities for our students who face unique challenges because they live in rural communities. You know, they may not have consistent access to internet or different challenges or transportation to school. Our veterans and military, of course, have unique challenges, and we want to support them as much as we can. Women and minorities in STEM. And so, like I said, this is just getting started. We're open to expanding these affinity groups. We're hoping to expand them. And they're all actually, for the rest of the semester, having information sessions. So if one of these interests you and you think that you fall into that, and you know, can see the benefit in that, I highly suggest you go to this page, click around, you'll find the information. You can watch their past videos about information on those groups and find dates for upcoming information sessions. But I really just wanted to share those points with you. And
Yeah,
Dr. Del Rio, anything you want to add on that?
Sure. You know, we spend a lot of time in meetings and talking to students, having student focus groups, and we do the best we possibly can to try to engage our students and to listen to what they have to say, because we think it's important. These affinity groups, the student organizations, they're there for you. We have them there for you. All you have to do is reach out. Now, we know most of you all are working. You may have family members, but take some time at the end of the day, maybe while you're trying to relax and just scroll through all the resources that we have on our webpage. There's lots of resources. We talked about that earlier as those transfer students transfer out and they themselves are looking for resources at that university page. We have those, not the same resources, but we have those resources that we feel are going to help you succeed because we want you to succeed. And so it's important for you to give us feedback as to what it is that we need to continue to do or stop doing, because it is not beneficial to you as a student. So we just are so happy that you are here with us. We want to take some time and to talk to you about the different organizations and the different affinity groups. So thank you, Elizabeth, for walking us through that. We also want to tell you about registration. We do have our spring registration coming up. So if you haven't registered, please do so. If you need help with any issues or concerns that you might have, you're welcome to come to my office. I'm located on the 3rd floor, suite 300, on the Corinth campus. You can email me at rdelrio@nctc.edu or call me at 940-498-6245. But we put this resource fair together for you. And so all of our partners and on behalf of NCTC, we want you to succeed. We want to help you. And we thank you for listening to our resource fair. And so again, if there are any questions that you do have, please put them in the chat at Facebook. We're happy to answer them. So Miss Elizabeth, we have our team here. Anybody else want to add on to those resources that we talked about? Student organizations, the affinity group, support groups, academic support groups that we have here? Because Elizabeth did a fabulous job. So.
Yeah, you're muted. Sorry, Jeanette, you're muted. I know, I don't know why I can't unmute.
Every time. No, it's my fault. No, I just had a comment about student organizations, and I think students can look at it in 2 different ways. It can serve so many different ways for the individual student. So not only do these organizations provide holistic education and experience for the student that is going to join the organization and being a part of an organization, but it also can transform their life when they are looking for jobs. Becoming active in a student organization brings you closer to representatives at the university or to your college. And these are people who are going to get to know you so that they can then become good references for you and also leadership mentors for you. And they can help you become the best scholar, but also professional that you can be. So organizations are not just to have fun, although they are. They're not just to develop you as a person, which they are, but they can develop you as a professional too. So if it eases your mind and you're thinking, oh, I don't have time to join this organization because I have all these other responsibilities, look at it as professional development. You're joining this organization not only to better yourself, but to better your future at the same time.
Thank you, Jeanette. That is a very good point, that when you join organizations, your chances are better for getting admitted at a university, because then the admissions committee sees that you have done and you have participated and you do have leadership skills.
Mm-hmm. And people that can write you really good references.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's so true. We lost Andrea. I know that she had a couple of questions, and so Elizabeth, do we have a video that we'd like to play before we get into our community resources?
Sure. Yes. Let me grab one of our videos. Thank you, guys. I know I'm anxious to see some of our student organizations. Roxanne, have you been a part of any of the affinity group work?
No, I have not. They've obviously called me for, I act like a consultant, so they'll call me if they need me. But they're learning, they're talking to the students, they're trying to get a handle and the grip on some of those student issues, so we can begin to help to help them and to have them succeed. So I have not. I admire most of our counselors who are so busy, our success coaches. They are part of the affinity groups, and they really have a heart for helping our students. It's hard work to see our students go through so much, and so we find the time. We will find the time to help. And we will find the time to talk with the students. Even if it's WebEx, we have not been, our offices are not still fully functioned. We do a lot of talking with our students via WebEx or Zoom. So if that's something that you're comfortable with, please let us know, and we're happy to help out and talk with you.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to go ahead and play a couple of our, meet your mentors for some of those affinity groups, so that you can meet the mentors, and then they will have more information on how to join them. Okay.
Great.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Ryder, and I am one of the affinity mentors for students with children. I am an academic advisor on the Gainesville campus, and I have 2 young children, so I'm really excited to work with this affinity group. Affinity groups, we are here to reach out and lift up our students. We understand our students balance a lot in life and a lot of challenges and on multiple levels. So as affinity mentors for students with children, we want to support you and provide resources to you and your family. So Beth is going to go over kind of what we're wanting to do with this group, and I'm going to hand it over to you, Beth.
Awesome. I'm Beth Wright, and I am a success coach on the Flower Mound campus. I work with first-time in college students, and I am really, really excited to be a mentor for this Students with Children affinity group, yes, I was a student with a child. I was a single mom and when I went through college, so it is kind of a passion of mine because I understand the struggles and kind of the need to maybe just be able to talk to somebody that understands where you're going, what you're going through, and help you navigate that and your academic success. So what we want to do is really get to know you. We want to know, kind of what your needs are. So we would like you to reach out to Mackenzie to her email, or you can email any of us, but we would like to know kind of your parenting status, whether you're a single mom, you're married, or a guardian, how many kids you have, and what their ages are. So if we have some information that specifically goes towards one age group, we can make sure that we pass that along. And we'd like to kind of know what challenges you're facing right now, and so we can kind of build and see how we can help and where we can grow. And now Courtney is another mentor that will give you some more information.
Hi, I'm Courtney Hymas, and I'm really excited to be a mentor for this affinity group. I am the Associate Director of Counseling and Advising, and you can primarily find me on the Corinth campus. But with this affinity group, what we really want to do is tailor it to you. We want to be able to provide resources and information that are relevant to you and what you may be going through with your kids right now. And we intend to have monthly meetings. So we really want you to let us know the days and the times that work for you, so we can try to have those meetings at a time that is the best for the majority of our group. But really, I have 3 young kids of my own, and understand that it really takes a village when we're trying to raise kids. And so we're hoping that this affinity group can be a support for you, and that we can be hopefully a helpful resource for you as you balance, school and having children and all of that. So if there is something that we can help with, we encourage you to reach out to us and let us know. Thank you.
And you can find our email addresses on our affinity group page, as well as make sure to download the NCTC app. If you join the NCTC app, there is a way for you to select specifically the students with children affinity group. In the app, you'll find our email addresses, but my specific email address is going to be reiter@nctc.edu. And again, feel free to reach out to any one of us, and we can definitely get you connected with the specific resources that you need. Thank you so much, and we look forward to meeting you. Hi, everyone. My name is Mackenzie Ryder, and I am one of the academic advisors on the Gainesville campus. I'm really excited to work with this affinity group, Latinx students. So affinity groups, we're really here to help you and kind of, make sure that you have all the resources that you need. Latinx makes over a quarter of our NCTC student population. So we really want to be here, me and Daisy, to kind of help you navigate college and, giving you the resources that you might need. We have, I'm on the Gainesville campus, I can assist with Cook County, and then Daisy's on the Denton campus, and she can help with, in Denton County. And then obviously we have different resources for our Bowie and Graham students, and we'd be happy to assist you and, assist you virtually and everything. So Daisy?
Yeah, make sure y'all connect with us either from the website. You can grab our contact information, nctc.edu/AFFINITY -groups. Or you can also download the NCTC app, and then within it, go to student groups and then find Latinx, and you'll see both of us in there. Chat with us, email us, whatever you need, we're here.
Absolutely. And my email address is meiter@nctc.edu. Feel free to, schedule an appointment with me, send an email to me. I'd be happy to connect with you.
Mine is D Garcia, DGARCIA @nctc.edu. Thank you, Mackenzie, for bringing that up.
Of course.
We look forward to meeting y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, it's recording.
Awesome. Well, welcome everybody. My name's Michael J. or Michael J. Scott. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I am an academic advisor and mentor for the GED group.
Hi, everybody. My name is Robin Eichhorn. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am also an academic advisor at NCTC and one of the mentors for the GED Affinity Group.
So welcome everybody. Just to let you guys know, NCTC has GED prep courses. Spring schedule is not out right now, but it will be hopefully fairly soon. It's 6 weeks long. It's free for Cook County residents, and it's $159 for anybody that doesn't live in Cook County.
Perfect. And then I'll go over some other resources in our communities of our service areas. So just a couple quick resources for you to think about depending on where you live. We will be working on a more detailed list that we'll be releasing for students to use to refer to. For Denton County, our Denton Public Library System offers free GED prep courses. The University of North Texas offers prep courses through Ed2Go. Louisville ISD and Denton ISD both have adult education offerings, and a lot of these services are both available in English and Spanish, depending on your preference. Cook County, as Michael J. stated, our GED prep is free for our Cook County residents. Our GED testing site is in Gainesville. There are currently no set dates for GED. We're trying to get something on the calendar before the end of the fall semester, so be sure to continue checking out our website. Feel free to reach out to Michael J. or myself with any questions. And then for our Young and Monte County friends, there's no testing at our Grammar Bowie campus, but those campuses do work closely with the Texas Workforce Solutions and Graham High School. And then just a reminder for folks that are interested in becoming students with us, you can take classes with us for an academic year while working on your GED. So while you do need a GED or diploma to enter a lot of employment opportunities, you can get other marketable skills and certifications and skill awards while working on that. And Michael J. and myself are both happy to help get you started, get you plugged in with the advisors based on your interest groups.
And we are here for you all. This is really your space to make this group whatever is going to be beneficial for you. We are able to, feel free to reach out to us. The app, email, text, our contact information is on the Affinity Group page, and just feel free to reach out. We're here for you, and whatever we can do to make this experience the best for you and support you in whatever way we can, just let us know.
We appreciate you taking the time to listen to our meet and greet, get to learn a little bit about us, what NCTC offers, what the community offers, and we look forward to hearing from you as well. We'll be keeping an eye out on the app, on our personal emails, phone numbers. Feel free to reach out. There's no wrong answer. And even if we can't answer the questions we have, we're more than happy to connect you with the correct person that can. So thank you again for listening. We'll be back once a month with other events, announcements, things like that. So please keep in touch. All right. Thank you.
Established in 2018, Spectrum Alliance is a student organization dedicated to educate the North Central Texas college community and support our LGBTQ+ students by providing a safe place for everyone to be themselves and connect with the community. In 2018 and 2019, members gathered weekly to plan events, socialize, and find a common sense of community and safety where all LGBTQ+ peoples are honored and valued. Members prioritize community education and resource sharing by tabling in the NCTC lobbies, hosting events for Transgender Day of Remembrance, and more. The biggest Spectrum event to date was the 2019 first annual NCTC Drag Show, held at the Patterson-Appleton Arts Center in Denton. The event raised money for the Trevor Project, an organization that provides support for LGBTQ+ youth, and promoted a culture of inclusiveness and artistic expression. The Spectrum Alliance organization has been and will continue to be a place where LGBTQ+ students and their allies can gather for support, friendship, education, and fun.
I have always felt like I didn't belong, not in my family or at school, even in my own group of friends sometimes. When I realized in high school that I was bisexual, I felt even more as an outsider, like a black sheep out of a white sheep's. I was too scared in high school to join an LGBTQ+ organization. I was scared people would judge me for being me, for being surrounded by love with people that are just like me. I was really sad because I could not embrace my true self. After I graduated high school, I continued my education at NCTC. I told myself I had to really embrace my true self and embrace my sexuality. I found a group called Spectrum Alliance. I fell in love with the people around me. It was what I was missing in high school, a support group that ended up becoming my family.
If you're interested in getting involved with Spectrum for the 2021 school year, please send an email over to peak@nctc.edu. Pride, Education, Advocacy, and Knowledge, or PEAK, is a newly formed employee resource group made up of NCTC faculty and staff across the district in support of NCTC's LGBTQ+ community.
Great information. And I hope our students really embrace the opportunity to become involved. And so, students, we're going to count on you. I think we're ready for our next segment. Is that correct, Elizabeth?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Jeanette or Roxanne, if you want to take us into community resources.
Community resources, that's so important to NCTC, because without the community, we could not help our students as much as we help our students. So here to offer us some community resource information is Sherry Williams. She's the shelter case manager for Grace Like Rain, a not-for-profit organization that's very active in the Denton community. And she has a video that she'd like to share with us. Then we're going to follow it with Danae Mitchell, who's going to talk a little bit about college etiquette. And Danae is a completion center success coach for our Flower Mound campus. And then we'll come back and introduce the rest. Thanks, Elizabeth.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Felicia from Grace Like Rain. At Grace Like Rain, I serve as the Training and Life Skills Director. And what I do is help to create and develop as well as implement classes and courses that can help in our life skills department.
And hi, I'm Sherry Williams. I'm the shelter case manager for Grace Like Rain. I've been at the shelter for a little over 2 years. For the first year and a few months, I was with Giving Hope as the education navigator for the shelter. And in this past year, I've been the shelter case manager through Grace Like Rain.
So I wanted to share a little bit with you about what we do at Grace Like Rain and the people that we assist. At Grace Like Rain, our mission is to see families' lives transformed, breaking the cycle of poverty and homelessness. We aim to reach and assist as many families in the Denton County in need of services as possible. Our vision for our families is long-term stability and self-sufficiency, accomplished by addressing any barriers that our families face, which include lack of transportation, childcare, and a sense of community.
And our mission is to demonstrate the healing power of Christ's love to families through relationships and resources. Grace Like Rain offers the resources to address the needs and break the many barriers faced by families that Felicia mentioned. As an organization, we provide the resources to meet these barriers as well as life skills classes to allow our families to grow and thrive.
So I wanted to share a little bit about what our core values are at Grace Like Rain. One is stewardship, transparency is next, servanthood, and compassion. So with stewardship, we aim to serve and serve with love and ultimately build connection with all those we come in contact with along the way. Transparency reflects our foundation of truth, honesty, and genuine intentions. Servanthood, we strive to put others first and serving our clients the best way to our abilities. And compassion, to treat our employees, volunteers, families / clients, donors with compassion of Jesus Christ.
And with Grace Like Rain, we offer services to families with children in order to assist them. These services include emergency and transitional shelter. We have a short-term shelter for moms with children who are homeless, who can stay there. And I'm the case manager there, and I work with the moms in order to help them overcome barriers in order to become housed. We also have a short-term hotel shelter program, and there's a case manager that assists those families as well in order to do the same thing to help them overcome barriers to become housed. In addition, with the terrible effects of COVID, we have some COVID assistance. The main assistance that we have is for childcare assistance. We partner with Fred Moore Child Care Center in order to provide childcare. And it's for infants to age 5th grade, because we know without childcare that can be a barrier to employment, and with employment, it can help individuals to become self-sufficient. So children can go there, even those in elementary school up to 5th grade, and be able to have childcare assistance. Older kids who are school age can also work on their assignments, so they can be there from 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. between those hours. In addition, we have a grant for emergency shelter and food program in order to provide rental assistance for families. It's a one-time assistance, and the main stipulation is that you have to be able to pay your rent going forward. So we can pay 1 month, but you have to be able to show that you can pay going forward. In order to apply for our services, you would just need to go to our website at www.glrtx.org and click on who we are, then scroll to the bottom and click on Need Help in order to apply for these services. If you are a family without children, because Grace Like Rain assists families with children, but if you are a family without children, then you can apply for assistance through our partner agency, Giving Hope, and you would just need to go to their website at www.hopeincdenton.com to apply for services. TCOG, the Texas Council of Government, also provides utilities assistance, so you can go to their website or call 903-893-2161. In addition, if you're having any other types of emergencies and you need emergencies assistance, you can just call 211 for assistance.
If you have any other questions, needs, or concerns, please give us a call at 940-535-5557, and we would love to get you to the right place. Have a good day.
Hello, my name is Danae Mitchell. I am a success coach for the Completion Center at NCTC Flower Mound. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about college etiquette. Learning and understanding college etiquette can help you with building respectful relationships with your professors, staff at NCTC, and other students. It can help you be more efficient with your time and have more clear conversations so that you can get the things that you want and needed done in a timely fashion. So there are several different areas of college etiquette that we could discuss, but for the sake of efficiency and time, what we're going to discuss is campus resources and services, classroom and etiquette with your professors, as well as etiquette with classmates and fellow students. Before we start discussing etiquette with resources and staff that we have here at NCTC, I want everybody to just remember that the staff and faculty at NCTC is here to help you. We want to see you succeed. We want you to learn. We want you to grow. And so we ask that you keep that in consideration whenever you are interacting with us, as we will keep that in mind whenever we are interacting with you, that you're here to learn, you're here to succeed. And so I just wanted to make that clear that, behind every email, behind every text message, phone call, virtual meeting, etc., there is a real person that's behind there, and that person is wanting to help you. So let's start with campus resources and staff. The first thing to take into consideration, of course, is to be polite. And I say be polite, but also expect that same politeness, respectfulness from whoever you are working with at NCTC. Make sure to introduce yourself. Let us know who we are working with, and let us know how we can help you. Now, we may ask for photo identification. That is just so that we can make sure that the account, your student account, is safe and secure. So we will ask for photo identification, whether you come in person to meet with us, which right now we're meeting virtually mostly. We will also ask for that if you're asking for anything to be updated or changed on your student account. So if you send us an email and say, hey, can you switch my classes? Please just go ahead and attach your photo ID so we know who we're working with. Now, this isn't necessary for all interactions, but especially things where we are changing things in your student account, we are going to ask for a photo identification. And just so you know, photo identification, that can be like a driver's license, a student ID, passport, something like that. And to maximize your time, whenever you're working with the different campus resources, try to get familiar with what we have to offer. You're here today for the virtual resource fair, so you're going to be learning a lot of information about different resources that we have. But you can also look on our website. You can look under our student services section and see the different resources that we have available. This is so that you can make sure that you're contacting the correct person to get answers if you have them, or to find out where to go to receive those services or resources. Now, if you are unsure where to start, please know that you can reach out to any NCTC staff, and we will guide you to the right direction to get the resources that you are wanting to utilize. Next, ask questions. We are here to help you, and we want to be able to answer the questions that you have. So don't ever hesitate to reach out and let us know if you have a question or concern. My suggestion whenever you're asking questions is to write them down. Sometimes whenever we start talking to somebody in staff or somebody that we're trying to get help from, we can forget what we came in with, and we might have stored it in our head and said, okay, I'm going to ask all these questions. But as we get to talking and you're trying to remember the things that are being told to you, you may forget them. So just write them down. We do not mind answering questions that you have, clarifying, or anything like that. After that, we are suggesting to email us. If you have questions, concerns, or anything like that, I would suggest sending an email over a phone call. And that is because there are more students than staff here at NCTC. So a lot of times we spend our days speaking with students, we're in appointments with other students, and we may not be able to pick up the phone. Now, if you do give us a call, which is completely welcomed and fine, if we don't pick up, please leave us a message so that we can get back to you. But if you're able to, reach out via email, let us know your questions there, or you can even schedule an appointment with us via email. Okay, so let's talk about etiquette in the classroom and with your professors. So the first thing is to make sure that you are attending class and that you're on time for your classes. Now, We understand that life happens. Sometimes we have to be late. Sometimes we have to leave early, and sometimes we may not be able to attend classes. In those situations, it's really important that you communicate and let your professor know. Number one, because we want to make sure that you're okay and that you're safe. But also, it just shows that you respect their time, and so that you can make sure that you are up to date on what's going on in the class. Next is to pay attention and to avoid distractions. So we know the number one distraction is our phone, right? So if you can avoid using your phone during class, that's going to be really helpful, not only for you, but it also helps with the professor. A lot of times, and students may not realize this, whenever professors see students on their phone, it can be a little bit distracting. Of course, be respectful of your professor and classmates. So speak to each other respectfully. If you have any major concerns, disagreements, or problems, I would recommend reaching out to your professor outside of class. You may schedule an appointment for office hours time to discuss your concern. You may also send an email as well. But as much as you can, try to be respectful and speak respectfully to your classmates and professors as much as possible. If you have questions, be sure to reach out. Let your professors know. And a lot of times in class, you may have a similar question or the same question as others in the class. But also keep in mind that you want to be respectful of your classmates and professors' time. So you only get a certain amount of time in a lecture. So if you find that you have several questions, you may consider reaching out to your professor via office hours so that you can get more one-on-one instruction and guidance over the questions that you may have. Make sure that you come to class prepared. So this means that you need to think about what your professor is going to ask you to use while you're in class. That may mean that you're expected to take notes. Think about what you use to take notes. Do you need a pen, a pencil, a notebook? Do you use your laptop? Will you need your textbook? Will you need other materials so that you can be prepared for class? Make sure you have those ready to go. The other thing is to make sure that you're up to date on the reading and the homework that you're supposed to do before class. This is going to help you participate in the discussions and ask questions as necessary if you need more clarification on the reading or homework assignments. And finally, submit your work on time. And this is not just because we want to be really strict with times or anything like that. Your professors have to grade these assignments. They have to put time into making sure the information is accurate, and they also want to provide you with feedback so that you can learn and grow. And that takes time. So if they have several different classes that they're teaching and managing, extending an assignment can throw off a lot of other things. So make sure that you're keeping up with your syllabus and you're submitting work on time so that your professors can provide you with accurate grading as well as feedback so that you can learn and grow. So let's go ahead and talk about etiquette with fellow students and classmates. So we hope that while you're here at NCTC, you're able to meet new people that are interesting and make new friends. To start that process, though, you have to introduce yourself. So this might be you introducing yourself to somebody that you sit next to in a class. This might be you sending an email to a fellow classmate, or just introducing yourself to somebody that you meet new that's on campus, whatever it is. But that's the first way to start making friends. Start off with a simple introduction like your name, something that you're interested in, you might ask them how they're doing and what their name is. Next is to make sure that you're being polite and respectful of others' boundaries. And so what I mean by that is whenever you meet somebody new, you can start to kind of pay attention to the body language, their verbal cues, and those are indicators to let you know if they feel comfortable with how you're interacting with them. You can also think about it in other ways of like communicating. So you can pay attention to when, if, and how a person responds verbally or through other communication measures. So let's say that you send somebody a text message and they don't respond. If you send another one and they don't respond back to it, you might say, okay, maybe they're not wanting to talk to me right now, which there's completely nothing wrong with. You just want to make sure that you're being respectful of others and that others are comfortable with interacting with you. And finally, embrace diversity and different perspectives of fellow students. So while you're here at NCTC, you're going to encounter people of different races, ethnicities, religions, sexual orientations, genders, political views. They'll have different interests. They'll be of different ages, which is actually kind of amazing. Take time to speak to people that are different from you. Ask questions, learn more about them, and you'll be interested to see how much you, number one, learn, but also how similar that you may are. And you just might make a new friend. Thank you all for being present and listening to this presentation on college etiquette. My hope is that today you were able to learn some tips and tools that can help you with navigating your college experience. What I want to leave you with today is, when in doubt, ask questions and be respectful. Try to go into situations, especially with staff and faculty here at NCTC, with the mindset of that you know that they want to help you and they are trying to understand. And expect politeness from any staff, student, faculty that you work with here at NCTC. And don't hesitate to ask questions if you have concerns, need clarification, or just need some guidance on where to go. Thank you.
Wow, that was some amazing information, students, on college etiquette and when you're trying to communicate with our faculty and staff. Thank you, Danae Mitchell, for giving us the opportunity to hear from you about college etiquette. So our next speaker, we're so excited to have from Abigail's Arms, is Ginger Johnson. Ginger, thank you so much for being here. We are so happy to have you. And you're with Cook County, and she is going to talk about the resources that she has there for you guys in Cook County. So Ginger, take it away.
Thank you for the invite. Okay, so this is my first time using StreamYard. So I am going to share my screen and show a real quick little video and then just talk about some of the services that we have available here at Abigail's Arms. So let's see. This one. And play.
How the kids handle it. How will we support ourselves? ¿Estaremos seguros? Abigail's Arms is Cook County's neighborhood family crisis center. We serve all affected by domestic violence, sexual assault, and child sexual assault. In addition to providing a safe place to stay, we offer counseling, a 24-hour emergency hotline, legal advocacy, and education. Get help, be involved, and learn more.
Okay, some people who went to the DMAX Theater may have actually seen that off and on before the movies. Just a little quick snippet on some of the things that we do. We are an umbrella organization. We have services for victims of crime. Any victim who is hurt by another person qualifies for services here at Abigail's Arms. So we do primarily domestic violence services or intimate partner violence. We do sexual assault response and supportive services. We have a child advocacy center that works specifically with children who are victims of crime. We have a prevention program that works within several of our local ISD school districts, providing supportive services to the kiddos in the school, as well as some of those prevention education programming that we have. We also have a batterers intervention and prevention program, which is specifically for perpetrators of violence within the family. And it's an educational program that helps them basically understand accountability and how to have a healthy relationship. So that's kind of a brief overview of the things that we do here at Abigail's Arms. Basically what we do when a client comes in, I'll just kind of walk you through. The way you access services for Abigail's Arms is simply you walk in the door, or you call and set up an appointment if you'd like to come in and sit down with one of our intake specialists or one of our case managers and just talk about what's going on. And then at that point, that person is going to basically give you a lot of resources that you can choose from, things that we think that will help you, and then you can choose what you feel is going to work best for you. We have case managers who can come out into the community, out to the college, over to the police department, to the hospital, who can meet with you there, or you can actually come here. Once you've done your intake assessment, your case manager will basically work with you on what your needs are, whether it is counseling services, whether it is just having somebody to come in and help you plan and make some goals, figure out where it is that you want to go from here, and then how you can move forward and meet your own benchmarks, your own goals that you set up with that case manager. Really working to help a victim of violence move from the victimization that happened into becoming healthy and whole and being able to move on in society and take care of yourself for the most part. We have an emergency shelter. So if you are fleeing from violence, we do have the shelter here that you can come and stay, but that's not a requirement. You can come in and you can get all of our services completely free of charge, whether you stay in the shelter or you just come in as what we call a non-residential client and work with your case manager. And that's pretty much a brief overview. I was told to give some time for some questions. So
Yes.
what do we have?
Ginger, do you work with our campuses in Bowie and Graham?
We do not. We're pretty much kind of restricted to Cook County. There's a family violence shelter in Denton, Grayson. A lot of the counties have their own entity similar to us that would be working on the different campuses.
Great. Ginger, we often run into students who are experiencing domestic violence, and we don't know what to say. We don't know what to do. So can you give us a quick tutorial about how can we interact with our students and ensure them that there's help?
The number one thing is just making sure they know that you believe them, that you're not questioning that whatever is happening to them, it's truly happening. We oftentimes tell our clients, you know your partner better than anybody else. So if you tell me that they're going to hurt you, then I'm going to believe that they're going to hurt you, and I'm going to give you some options of how you can keep yourself safe. So the number one thing is just, I believe you, and I'm so proud that you came in and talked to me and trusted me with this information. Now let's see what we can do to help you feel more safe and secure, whether it's getting out, whether it's safety planning, and just working on how can you reach out if there's something going on. A lot of times, statistically, a victim of family violence will leave up to 7 times and go back before they leave for good. So for a lot of people, that's really hard to understand. I like to say, you don't just flip a switch and suddenly you love somebody, and you can't just flip a switch and not love them anymore. So they always have a hope that things will change. So not giving up is really big. This person may come to you multiple times saying, I'm scared, I need to get out. And then you start helping them get out, and then suddenly they backtrack and they're going to stay. So another key is don't give up on them. They need to know that they have an outside support system for when they are ready to step out. And that trust that you build by being there and supporting them is going to be huge for them when they do finally make that step and are ready to leave and get some resources to help them move on.
Great. We have a question. Is there a criteria to receive counseling?
Basically, if you are a victim of crime, you qualify for counseling here. And again, it just means that you need to come in and do that intake assessment. And then see a case manager. And while you're talking to your case manager, if you feel counseling is what you need, we currently have 2 counselors, one who works primarily with children and teens, and another who works with teens and adults. I have 2 positions open for counselors. So I'm looking to expand that because there's definitely a need in Cook County for the trauma-informed counseling, which works specifically with victims of trauma. So basically coming in and doing that assessment is the key part of it. And then again, it's all free. It's covered by grants. So if you need it and we can provide it, we're going to try to do that for you.
If the student would like to have you come on campus to talk to her, and you mentioned that that is something that you can do, your counselors can do.
Well, we have our intake specialist and sometimes our case managers, depending on the availability of staff, that can be something that we can set up if we need to. And we've done that before. We've gone out to the Gainesville campus and met with a client out there just to inform them and let them know what we can do and how we can help, and then how to get them plugged in to whatever it is that they're needing here.
Great. That's helpful information. Now, Ginger, I'm not an LPC. I don't have my degree in counseling, and all my experience as dean of students here at NCTC has been just through experience. But when
you're doing a lot of counseling too.
But I want to ask about safety planning.
Mm-hmm.
When we do safety planning, or if students, if you're listening out there, I'm going to ask Ginger to go over some safety planning with you guys, and it's going to help me for if and when I get my next student. So can you cover that for us, Ginger?
Sure. So first of all, if a client decides that they want to stay in the home, safety planning is going to include things with what are your resources that you can reach out to if things are escalating and you can't get out. So a person you can call, a text you can send that will let the person on the other end know it's bad and I need help. Call the police, however you work that out with the other people in your life. I know there are some apps that will allow you to just real quickly send a kind of an SOS message out to several people if you're needing help. It can be making sure that you have a set of keys to a car, your important documents in a safe place outside of your residence so that you don't have to go back in. It's talking about when you're in the middle of a disagreement, don't go in the kitchen. Don't lock yourself in the bathroom because the bathroom doors are not secure doors. Kitchens are full of weapons. So getting out of the house is always important. And if you can't get out, what are the things you can do to make sure somebody else knows you need help? Sometimes for families, an older child is that resource. If things are getting bad, that child is the one that's designated to call 911. Unfortunately, a lot of families, that's the resources that they have. So we strategize with the victim and the family through what resources they have, what's available to them. De-escalation, not arguing with someone. A lot of times the victim knows that the tension is building. They'll often tell us that it feels like they're walking on eggshells. They know that something is fixing to happen. They just don't know what, and they just don't know when. And so having that understanding of this is common. And when you feel that tension building, you find a way at that point to get out before it becomes more lethal or you can't leave the residence. When we actually talk to clients who are leaving or who have left the residence, we do a lot of technology stuff, making sure your location services are off on your cell phones. If you have a shared account with someone, or if you have one of those apps where families keep track on each other, those are all important things that you need to disengage from if you are trying to get out and stay safe. And then having those discussions about what is safe. Going to a family member's house can be a safe place. It can also sometimes put your family at danger. So thinking about the lethality of your partner, like I said, the victim knows that person better than anybody. If being at a brother's house means that your partner is not going to act out in front of that person, then that's going to be a safe place. If there's not a family member or a friend that you feel would be able to handle the stress of this situation, then coming into the shelter or going and staying somewhere out of town where the perpetrator's not going to think about you might have gone is always a good thing. And then again, making sure you have your important documents, your driver's license, your birth certificate, those kinds of things are very important when you start moving on and you're looking at finding a job or going back into school, whatever that case may be. You need those papers. And a lot of times that's a hurdle that we're helping people get over because they don't have those things with them. And so now we're looking for replacements and all of that.
Those are great points, Ginger. I just worry that because it takes someone 7 times to leave their partner, and they've left and it's their 3rd time and they want to go back home. What do you suggest? I mean, it's not going to be a happy situation, but when they go back home, and they decide to do that, what should we tell them?
Again, it goes to the education that this is very common and that there is a cycle of abuse. So we talk about that cycle of abuse a lot. And a lot of times it's very eye-opening to clients because they're like, how did you know that would happen? Because this is part of the manipulation. This is part of the power and control that is in your relationship. And so most of the time when they initially go back, you're in that honeymoon period. Everybody is trying to be at their best, at the top of their game. It's all about the love and the roses and let me take you and let me do and we're going to be together. And then the clients will tell us the tension starts to build. There's little angry outbursts because, you didn't do something right or you said something wrong. And those are the cues that we encourage our clients to pay attention to. When you start feeling that tension, when you start hearing those angry words, you need to be proactive in keeping yourself safe and not getting caught in a position where you can't get out of the house or you can't get away if you need to. And most of the time clients, especially after a 2nd or 3rd time, they're a lot more educated if they go back and they're a lot more proactive with the safety measures that we suggest that they put in place.
Great. Now, oftentimes we've had students who have fled and are successful and they're coming back to school. Do you have seminars on how to have a healthy relationship that we can?
We have a wonderful healthy relationship class. One of our case managers, Miss Linda, teaches that class. And it is very informational about starting with the red flags. We always say your first date, if they punched you in the nose, you'd never go on a second date. But it's those multiple dates, you get into this relationship, you both love each other, and then all of a sudden you're looking back and going, how did I end up where I'm at? So yeah, she talks about the red flags in a relationship, controlling behavior, how to have a respectful disagreement, how to fight fair, and then really just looking at what is a healthy relationship. I know for a lot, especially for younger people, everybody has technology. You're texting and you're phone calling and you've got apps that let you know where everybody is. And a lot of people look at, oh, he wants to know where I'm at and what I'm doing because he loves me and he cares so much for me, which might be true. but it is also a controlling behavior that can very quickly escalate to total control of your life. And the fact that, oh, I see you were here when you said you were there, and now you're in trouble because you weren't where you said you were going to be. So understanding those nuances and understanding what that controlling behavior is, and then just helping them see that a lot of it is self-esteem building, helping them understand that, you know, there is a better way to have a relationship. There is a healthy way to have a relationship. So it's a really good class. I think it's 10 weeks now. And she typically does 2 to 3 a year. So just calling out and asking about them, and we can see about getting somebody in.
Great. That's so good, because our students really want the opportunity to have a healthy relationship, but when their relationships have not been healthy, they don't know where to start.
Right.
So, and we've been asked to put on seminars and those sorts of things. So that's great that you have them already prepared, and maybe we can, you know, train the trainer,
Sure.
get the information, and then we become the healthy relationship trainers for our students. Do you come out and do mental health assessments as well?
We don't do mental health assessments unless you're a client and you're asking to go to counseling. Most of those assessments are done on our younger clients, but I know our adult therapist does have a few that she'll use sometimes just to get a handle on where a client is at. And sometimes it's educational for that client as well, to help them understand where they're at and then starting making those goals to move forward.
Wonderful. Well, are there any more questions from the audience before we let Miss Ginger go? She's an expert in the field, so I want you to take time to ask a question if you'd like. If not, Ginger, we can contact abigailsarms.com, correct?
It's
Visit the
.org.
website, or I'm sorry, .org to and we have it there on the screen, abigails.org. And there is a contact us information page. If we are in a crisis, there is a crisis line
Yes,
that you can call.
It's 940-665-2873. We also have a Facebook page, and we do have clients reach out on Facebook. And we have an Instagram page. So trying to be social media savvy.
Yes, yes. And so the phone is monitored 24/7. Is that correct, Ms. Ginger?
Yes, it is. Yes,
Okay.
it is.
So students, take that number, visit the website, be prepared. If you don't need the information, share it with some friends that you feel might need it. And so thank you, Ginger, for spending your time with us. This was very informative, and I really, really enjoyed learning how to help our students with their planning, should they have that, or should they need that piece of information.
Well, thank you for the invite, and definitely, you know, students, the number one way we get referrals is from a friend, somebody saying, hey, I know where you can go and they can help you. And then even if you have to bring them and sit with them and be a part of it to support them, we're here to help.
Great. And that's an important point, Ginger, you bring up. They can bring a friend with them. The friend can sit there and listen to what the instructions might be and reiterate that, because sometimes when you're in crisis, you don't hear everything. So it's
Right.
good to bring a friend with you, so that friend can take notes and reiterate what was being said during that meeting. So
I just want to throw out as well, we have a class coming up on December 5th. It's called Agents of Change, trying to create agents of change in the community to help end violence against family members. And it is starts at 10. It will be at Whaley United Methodist Church, so we can social distance. And you can register through the website, or you can just call and ask for Yvonne, and she can get you signed up for it. It's a more in-depth look at the services we provide and the different programming that we have, and then using that to go out in the community, and when somebody makes an outcry, you have the information again, to just say, hey, I know where you can go, and here's where it is. And if I need to, I can take you out there and be with you and help you through all of this.
Wonderful. Do you also have Christian counselors that?
Well, because of the grant funding that we have, I don't specifically have Christian counselors, but all of my counselors have faiths of some kind. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, great, Ginger. Thank you so much for spending your time with us this afternoon, and
No
we'll
problem.
definitely be in touch.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Bye-bye. Well, students, that was awesome information. As I said, it's helped me help those that need that help. So again, thank you to Ginger, and thank you, Abigail's Arms. They're angels. They do a lot with less. So thank you for the hard work that you do to help keep our community safe. So our next speaker, our community resource, I'm excited to bring back is Chelsea Chambly. She's with Embrace Grace, and that is an opportunity for mothers to get help that they need. And she's also going to talk about volunteering opportunities. So not only is she president of the Ignite, she's the executive president of our National Society of Leadership and Success, and also an NCTC elite member. And when she's not doing her homework, she's out there volunteering with Embrace Grace. So Chelsea, welcome back. Talk to us a little bit about Embrace Grace.
Thank you for having me back. Yes, Embrace Grace is an organization that my church partners with and I partner with, and it is basically a support group for single moms. What's really, really awesome is that they have Embrace Grace is life before baby. So while you're pregnant, it gives it a safe space for moms to come and kind of turn their negative situation to a positive. We showed them, if you don't want to keep your baby, we help you with adoptions, we help you get connected. And not just that, but if you want to keep your baby, then we show you ways that you can do this, because you can be a mom at a young age. It's not preferable, but we show you. And once you do Embrace Grace, there's a program called Embrace Life. That's life after pregnancy. And so then you get to kind of take it on as, okay, now I know what to do while I was pregnant. Now the baby's here. What do I do? And it gives you another different type of support group of people that are in the same boat you are, so that you don't feel alone as much. And I'm so happy to announce that we just launched a Embrace Legacy, and that is that's starting in March of next year, and it's supposed to be a support group for single dads. So now we got the dads involved.
Great.
So it's just so much going on, so awesome. I'm going to share my PowerPoint with you to kind of show you some volunteer options that you can do. Hoping this works again. Okay. Can you guys see my screen okay?
Yes.
Awesome. So first and foremost, my contact information is right here. It's chambly.chelsea@gmail.com. I'm more than happy to help get you connected. Embrace Grace, here is their website. It's just www.embracegrace.com. And here is their phone number. And then some volunteer options is you can go. So this is a 13-week program. So you can come in every week if you want to bring dinner one night for them, or if you just want to come and kind of, love on them and, show some support. That's always an amazing opportunity. But we have these things called Princess Day and Baby Shower Day. And Princess Day is where we just kind of pamper them. It's usually right before they go into labor. We just kind of make it a day all about them. I've done some where I combine my Princess Day and Baby Shower. And so I've had people come volunteer to do their makeup, to do their hair. Some people have volunteered to bring in like some food. And then my amazing church has just showered us with gifts for these moms. We send out a list saying, okay, I have 4 girls and these are their needs. This one's having a girl, this one's having a boy. And then, people just, that's how they really want to give. And then I've had people come volunteer to help wrap the gifts. And then I had somebody come in and volunteer to take professional pictures for these girls. So they have like their maternity photos because they probably can't afford to do that. And we want to make that possible for them. And then the baby shower is just so much fun just to kind of be there. And, you know, they got their makeup done, their hair is done. You can just tell they're really feeling their best. And you can just really see God moving in them. And because of all the support that they've had this whole journey.
Yeah.
So I'm going to also walk you through real quick. If you are a single mom and you would like to reach out and help, I'm going to show you how easy it is to do this. You're just going to go and type in www.embracegrace. If I can type right. And then you're going to go right up here to get support. And you're going to scroll down. And it's actually, these are at all kinds of churches. So you're going to type in your zip code that's your zip code. Mine is 75077. And it looks like this one will be the closest one. And then as you keep going and you know, it gets further and further away. So I'm just going to go to the very closest one to me. I'm going to contact the leader. It says that they meet on Wednesday nights at 6:15. It gives me the name of the leader. So I'm going to go here. And then it just all at once is your first and your last name, your age, your phone number, and an email address. So they have the ways to get in contact with you. And what they do is within 24 hours, that leader will get an email saying, hey, you have a bloom. And it has them reach out to you and they kind of just walk you through everything. You go in. It's not awkward at all because, you know, everybody's kind of in the same boat you are. So everybody's kind of, I don't know about this. But usually the first week is the most awkward because it's something new. But after that, just seeing the girls flourish and, you know, just really, really like make those friendships and those connections. And then I've had one semester where I did it and they brought their friends that were pregnant and they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So I'm going to highly, highly recommend this. It's free to you. All you have to do is sign a contract saying that you will come 70% of the time. And then after that, it's, you know, you get a baby shower, which, you know, we get you your needs and some of your wants. And it's just an amazing opportunity for you to really reach out and be blessed.
Right. How many mothers can you serve?
Oh, goodness. There's not a limit. I mean, I've had my first semester, I had 8 girls. And then my second semester, I had 4 girls.
Oh, great. So you're like an intake specialist. So you talk with them about what their needs are. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So we have a question. Are you all only in Denton County?
No, I've actually helped people in like Illinois that have called my number because they found me on the website. I'm like, well, I'm not near you, but let me get you contact to somebody in your area. And so then I'll call Embrace Grace and say, hey, I have a girl who's needing some help. They live here. Can you help? And then they go to their team there and then they get right onto it.
Great. So it's nationwide, I guess, throughout the United States.
Yes.
So how are you funded? How do you keep your doors open? Is it through private contributions from the churches?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So the church is usually the one that helps. At my church, we have an outreach service that we do. And so that's considered an outreach because we're helping reach the community and everything. So, but there are some groups that do, you know, they get a group together and it's like 3 or 4 leaders and they fund it because that's what they want to do. It is, you know, kind of encouraged to go through your church to do it so that you do have help with the funding. And it's kind of that safe place of, oh, I don't want to go to somebody's house that I don't know. The church is kind of a common ground.
Great. So what would I do as a volunteer?
Pretty much whatever you're comfortable with. If you want to come in every week and bring food, or you want to come in and pray with them, if you want to come in and just listen to them, because some of these girls really just want somebody to listen to them and listen to their story. You can volunteer with the baby shower, which who doesn't want to work in a party, right?
Right.
If you like to do hair and makeup and you need volunteer hours for those things, then people would love to have people come in and do hair and makeup for their girls, or photography, pampering. I know one of my friends at another church who does Embrace Grace, they have these wax machines. They come in and they do they put your feet in the wax and your hands in the wax. So it's like a whole pampering system.
Wow. Well, we have a question from our community. If a photographer wants to volunteer their time to take maternity photos for these moms, would they email you, Chelsea?
Yes, if they wanted to email me, they definitely could. And depending on where they are, I could send their information over to Embrace Grace, or they could email Embrace Grace and say, hey, I'm very interested in helping. And then they can kind of give you some areas that are near them that are churches that are looking for that. And they can give their information out to those churches.
That's great. Because in my opinion, I think you're going to have a lot of people wanting to volunteer. Is there any sort of background checks we have to go through, or to do anything special to be able to volunteer?
They don't typically do the background checks because it's not it's not like more than a 2 or 3 hour gig sometimes. But I mean, I know my church doesn't do it because it's, if you want to come volunteer, you're more than happy to volunteer. If you need your paperwork signed, I can sign it, or we have the pastor that's over the outreach ministry. She signs it for us sometimes if I can't sign it. But there's really no background check that's really needed.
Great. So how are you doing your parties during this COVID pandemic?
So what's really, really cool is I haven't got a chance to do it yet because we didn't do it this past fall, but I've seen my other friends do it, and they do what they call a drive-by baby shower. So what they do is they'll come up to their front yard or their porch area of the apartment, and they'll put like a banner up by the door, or like the yard signs that are new now, and they put gifts all around, and it's been like store-bought cupcakes or store-bought sandwiches, so it's it's in a container and it's safe, and they put gifts there, and then they go run back to their cars, and then they celebrate them while they open their gifts and everything. It's been so cool to watch that still happen.
Well, yes, and that's a very great way to stay safe and still volunteer is to contribute and give. Now, if I needed a suggestion, I could contact you and say, I want to do the drive-by. What do I get? And you can recommend things at the Dollar Tree, the Dollar General, something that's very inexpensive that the mothers would need. So I'm sure you have a list of things. Oh, good. So it doesn't have to be expensive. If you still want to help, there's ways that you can contribute just by going to the Dollar Tree or Dollar General or Walmart and getting the little items that they need for their children. I am always amazed, Chelsea, at what you volunteer and what you do for our community. That God just continues to bless you and gives you the strength. And you are also getting married, is that right?
Yes, I'm getting married next month to my very best friend who I've been with for about 10 years now. So.
Oh, wonderful. And see, God blesses you because you've done wonderful things, and he's going to continue to bless you. So congratulations, Chelsea. and so thank you for being on today and for sharing your experiences with us. And we'll let you go.
Okay, thank you so much, guys.
See you later.
Bye.
So Chelsea is one of our star students, and she is amazing, and we wouldn't know what to do without her. So the next session is going to be community resources, our college resources, and there are three resources on our website that I want to show you that students forget about. And so I'm going to share my screen. Let me put up my PowerPoint. And oops. You see, if I can put up my PowerPoint and share my screen. Oops, that's not what I want.
Uh-oh. Did you find the...
I found the button, but I have two, I think it wants to show it from another screen, so I'll try that.
Oh, 2 monitors, gotcha.
2 monitors.
There we go, I think.
And you probably can see that.
Yeah.
So I'm real excited to share with you these resources on our websites, and I'm going to actually go to our website to show you really quickly some resources that the students you might need. The first one is career services, and let me see. Oops, if I can get to that. Can y'all see that?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. Sometimes during the COVID time, I would get lots of phone calls with students who have lost their job and don't know where to go to get a job. Well, we have for you an opportunity for you to find jobs that you qualify for, that you feel like are going to work around your schedule, and for you to get the funding that you need to continue to stay employed and help your families with whatever they need and for your expenses. So we do have a career services that will help you find that temporary job while you're going to school, and also for when you are professionally done with us and you've gotten your degree and you're a professional and you want to find a job. This is a great way, a great resource for you to get connected, look around, see what they have in terms of jobs for your profession. They will also, here we have a career coach, Daphne Riddle, and she will help with getting you prepared for that interview, what to wear, what not to wear, interviewing skills. They'll even I think her and there's someone else on her team will also review resumes and give you some pointers, because you've worked too hard for your positions here and to get your degree. That the last thing we don't want to see is for you not to get a job. So we have this resource for you. And also, if you don't know what you want to major in, if you don't know where you want to work, and I see this a lot with people who have lots of skill sets. So if you have lots of skill sets and don't know where to start, they will give you an interest inventory, which is a question and answer survey that highlights your skills and then kind of puts it all together, and so that you can see where your strong points are in certain careers. And so I've sent a lot of our students over there with much success. So that's number one. The second resource, let's see if I can bring that up. I'm not ready for that one. Is our student resource page on our Completion Center website. And a lot of students sometimes need help with resources. And academic resources is basically what I'm talking about. So they may need help with goal setting. They may need help with time management, stress management and wellness, enhancing study skills, improving reading strategies, overcoming test anxiety is a big one, and learning style strategies, and much more. So one of the things I do when I encounter students who are having problems with time management. Well, what is time management, and what do I need to do to manage my time more effectively? I send them here to our completion center, and there are a number of coaches that are on the various campuses that will sit with you and talk with you about what it is that you need to have in order for you to be successful. So they're going to give you lots of tools that you can put in your toolbox so you can pull them out when you need them. So this is just a very small list of the seminars that they have, the student resources that you can obtain. But, again, we want you to reach out to us and talk with us. Here on the website, you will see Christy Rains, who's on our Gainesville campus. Katie Trenzeski, which is on our Corinth campus, Danae Mitchell, which you heard about earlier, talking about college etiquette at our Flower Mound campus together with Beth Wright. Bowie campus is Desiree Duralato, and she's also on our Graham campus. So we have some really good people serving in these roles. And so, again, wanting you to be successful. So then that is our college. I'm going to move on to our community resource page. And you've heard from Grace Like Rain. You've heard from Abigail's Arms. You've heard from Embrace Grace. But sometimes our students don't need those types of services. I wanted to share with you our counseling and community resource page. And as you scroll through, you're saying, oh my God, I don't know. This is not in order in any way, shape, or form. How am I going to find anything? There are lots of resources. And I'm probably making you dizzy because I'm scrolling very fast. But we've built in a feature. So if we need food and we're suffering from food insecurity, we press the button and voila, there are our different agencies who will deal with food in our area. So in the Gainesville area, there's Visto. They have a food pantry. We have Bowie Mission in our Bowie campuses, Our Daily Bread here in the Denton campuses, First Refuge Ministry. They're very good. They've brought over food to help us at our giving shelves, and each one of our campuses have a giving shelf. In our Gainesville campus, we have our main food pantry. But you can come to any one of our locations and say, I need help. I need food. And there's nothing, we don't take names. We don't, all we care about is that we get you fed. There's a number of churches in our area that will also help with that. There's also housing. If you need help with housing, we do have resources out there. Those experiencing homelessness, we do have information out as well. Transportation. We do have information on transportation. And as you learned from TW earlier, DCTA gives us passes. We are not operating our shuttle yet here at NCTC, but there is the different bus systems and train systems that you can use to get to and from places. If you want something in terms of, if you need help with free legal advice, we have that on our webpage. And then again, it's in the counseling. You can just use the search engine and type in counseling and community resources to get to this page. If something is on there that you need and you can't find, then email us. We probably have a resource, or if not, we'll reach out to find one for you. So this brings us to the end of our first day of the virtual resource fair that we have for you. We're glad that you've joined us this afternoon. And I'd like to remind you that tomorrow, beginning at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time, we will share information on wellness, healthy self, spiritual and faith wellness. So thank you for tuning in, and We'll see you soon.